Oh, very good morning, you beautiful souls. Wake up, get out of bed, up and at 'em. It's a brand new day, it's a brand new week. Hopefully we'll inspire you. It's understandable if you're feeling a little low, a little down this morning on the sporting front. A bit of a tough weekend. You know, the Proteas and the Blitzboks all facing massive disappointment. And of course, Spurs fans out there probably still crying at the moment. So well done to all of our Liverpool fans. Wherever your allegiances lie, we will help nurse you into a brand new week. But thank you so much for joining us. We will put a positive spin on things this morning. My name is Graham Richards. You are live with Expresso. It's going to be a beautiful day. I know this because I've just seen my gorgeous princess getting mic'd up, ready for her hard day's work. And of course, we're the hardest part of that job because she's got to keep pumping out the coffees. Morning, dear. How was your weekend?
Morning, I'm good, and you?
Oh, very good. Well, I'm lying, actually. I'm heartbroken. I'm soul-destroyed, but you will get me through it. I've got my team with me today to help drag me into this brand new week. Kat, how are you doing, dude? A little bit of a bummer.
Very good morning, you beautiful people. Katahama boy over here.
I'm also here. It's Zoe Brown, and of course, a very good morning to you.
I like how Graham just put it to me. How do I feel this morning? Well, you know, so disappointed. Champions League, firstly, was a very boring game for me. I was really so psyched up and preparing myself all week long for this weekend's final. And then it just disappointed completely. But of course, there was so much going on in terms of the sport over the weekend. We had Sevens rugby, we had World Cup cricket, Champions League soccer that dominated the weekend. The question is, what was your favorite sporting highlight?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what was yours? Let me quickly tell you what everyone is saying quickly here. Vincent Muziwandile Lamini says, Champions League, congratulations to Liverpool. Yes, of course, the Reds winning it now for their 6th time in their history. Carmen here saying, the Sharks, rugby, anytime. Am I sensing that you were there in that same vibe as well?
I actually will admit I had nothing to do with sports this weekend.
No!
I had nothing to do with sports.
How's that even possible? Cape Town was a flood with sporting enthusiasts with the Red Bull Cape Town circuit. So what dominated your weekend then?
Listen, friends are now at that stage where it's just baby showers and maternity shoots, and it's just like, you know, little ones.
You need to get new friends. Just kidding, just kidding. But of course, let us know your thoughts. I think very disappointing results once again for the Proteas, who lost to Bangladesh yesterday.
No.
So we are really
I avoided the disappointment. That's why I had nothing to do with the sport.
It's country duty. You have to support the nation. Bafana knocked out of the Kosafa Cup by Botswana in a penalty shootout that I thought we would take all the way. But as you can hear, it's my stories over the weekend are just full of morbid sadness over sports. Help me feel better. Connect with us on social media and share your highlights from the weekend, whether they're sports or otherwise.
And speaking of weather, and I know that was a different kind of weather, let's quickly look at your temperatures and what to expect for today. If you're in Johannesburg, there will be sunny conditions with warm temperatures. Clear skies are expected for the duration of the day. Durban today, partly cloudy, in fact partly sunny, pleasantly warm temperatures. Cloud cover and humidity will be increasing towards this evening. If you're in Port Elizabeth, mainly cloudy conditions, and this is with a light northeasterly wind. If you're in Cape Town today, partly sunny, plenty of sunshine with temperatures with little to no wind. So it seems like a good day ahead.
Yeah, so it sounds like the kind of day, at least in the mother city, where you can be free thinking in terms of your wardrobe. So you'll remember that last week, Friday, we put it to you that these are the two options of wardrobe that I have to choose from, and we asked you to please weigh in and let me know which you think I should wear today. We had the teal bomber jacket with all black undertones to it, so you could pair that one. Chinos, formal pants if you will, but I mean the way that we're mixing and matching formal and casual wear these days, there's no certain
You really
rules,
can
right?
combine, and I see you. They have paired it here for you with like a little cardigan.
Absolutely, yes.
With jersey.
So in fact, at any point in time, I could even take the bomber off. And then on the other hand, you had the khaki chinos with the burnt orange. What color would you call that? Burnt orange?
Yes, I would.
Burnt orange golfer and black bomber on top. Of course, that allows you a bit of play in terms of what color sneaker you'd go with that. So we will reveal your choice very shortly as we calculate all of the votes, because we do take this voting thing very seriously.
Yes.
We live in a democracy.
If you still want to leave a vote, you can head on over to the Expresso Facebook page. That's the spot for you to go and cast your vote.
Yeah. Which would you have chosen, Zoe?
Well, you know, I was actually looking at both outfits match my outfit because this is the color of my pants, more or less. That's the color of my shirt. For some reason, I can see you in this option, but it's really, I like both.
Yeah,
both,
up to you guys.
Yeah.
Up to you guys. So go ahead and give us a vote. Let us know what you think. And hey, thanks for tuning in on this Monday morning at the start of a brand new week. And of course, as always, in the kitchen, we're always cooking up some kind of deliciousness. Let's take a look at the recipes for the morning.
Well, we're going to chow down this morning, to be quite honest. We've got two absolutely delicious meals to be making. First, a beautiful lunchtime treat. We are loving our Be Well sandwich spread. You can use it in so many different ways. And this morning, we are making a cheesy serve, which looks delicious, full of flavor, full of cheese, obviously, with a few little surprises, some spicy surprises thrown in there as well. The key word is Be Well, all one word. SMS that to 33728 if you'd like to make that cheesy sub along with us. Then it's a classic, but done slightly differently. This morning we are making a sticky toffee pudding, and it looks very sticky. There's a lot of muscovado going on here. We've even got some mushed up dates. It's delicious. It does have a nutritional component as well, but we are going for something decadent and amazing in the kitchen, and the keyword there is clover to 33728 if you want to make your sticky toffee pudding along with us this morning. Perfect, well-rounded breakfast. So we've also got Corinne Kokia coming onto the show a little bit later this morning. Can't wait to connect with her. Ash is here to commiserate. Likewise, Jeremy, after all of the sporting highs and lows. I know a lot of you are celebrating out there. But let's inspire you today with a positive quote to get that mindset into that positive lane this morning.
Well, this is a story all about how my life got twisted upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air. Go, Greg! You know why I'm doing that? Because today's quote is actually from the one and only, the inimitable Mr. Will Smith. In fact, I actually caught Aladdin this weekend. Pretty cool movie. He did a pretty good job. But of course, you will know him as the man who was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, a man who earned himself a Grammy before the age of 25. Did you know that?
No, man.
Will Smith won a Grammy before he was 25 years old, man. And
But he hit it big, man.
And he hit it big in everything that he's ever done.
But he's like one of those that has created an empire around him, and his family feed off it. They're all amazing, but he's the dude.
Like now, when there's a red carpet event, people look forward to seeing the Smiths on the red carpet because they're winning at life. I think that family is just winning at life.
And he's a phenomenal actor. He is a really, really good actor.
Have you seen Aladdin?
No,
I
haven't.
Weekend.
I haven't.
You need to watch it when Jack comes around. Very, very cool. But anyway, so I mean,
What
if
has he
there's
got to say,
somebody,
man?
if you want to be motivated by somebody on a Monday morning, then Will Smith is a pretty good choice to go for. So here's a quote from Will Smith, which said, "Don't let success go to your head and failure to your heart."
Wow.
Don't let success go to your head and failure to your heart. Just figure out that connection. Take the good and the bad with a pinch of salt.
Do you think he was speaking directly to us this morning after this weekend?
You know,
Do you think he was just...
well observed, Graham. I think
Don't let the
really
failure go to your heart, okay? It's not who you are.
Because there's so much failure to contemplate this past weekend.
It's hit me harder than actually
listen,
I'd like.
To Fuff and the boys, I know that you guys are probably watching this on the stream on YouTube. Listen, okay, we're upset, okay, because it's not cool. It's not cool. But it's not over yet.
Yeah, no, but not by long shots. And listen, Bangladesh, let them have their moment. They stood up, they did something amazing, they played brilliantly. If this isn't the wake-up call that we need, then yeah, so be it.
And Bafana, it's okay. COSAFA Cup done, Botswana, but Bafana, African Cup of Nations is coming. Please, let's do the things that must be done to make these things to be done, like we're about to do right now. Let's start the show.
Boom.
I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Well, good morning, South Africa. Time for us to take a look at your news, starting with national news. New Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, has instructed the rail safety regulator to speedily investigate the rail collision at the Eerste Fabrieke station in Mamelodi, Pretoria on Saturday. Paramedics treated 11 people for serious injuries and a further 39 for minor injuries. And South African Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago has called on African countries to be smarter when borrowing money. He says debt is not a replacement for domestic revenue mobilization. We now move to news abroad, where Zimbabwean Treasury introduction of a 2% tax on all electronic transactions has yielded positive results beyond the government's expectations. For the first time in almost 6 years, Zimbabwe has a surplus on its budget. And a cruise ship crash in Venice has reignited calls for large vessels to be banned from the city's Gaiadeca Canal. 4 people were injured yesterday when a 275-meter-long ship collided with a dock and a small tourist boat after losing control. And finally, a simple act of lending 100 Rand to a customer in need has multiplied beyond petrol attendant Nkosiko Mbele's wildest dreams, as the customer's crowdfunding campaign has seen her raise almost 300,000 Rand and counting for him in return so far. 28-year-old Mbele from Khayelitsha on Thursday, from his own pocket, paid for Monet van Defender's petrol when she stopped at his station on the N2 near Makaza on her way to Cape Town, and then realized she had left her wallet at home. He told her that she couldn't risk running out of petrol on the N2 and could bring the money back whenever she was near there again. Monet says on her way back, she returned his blessing and asked him why he had helped and trusted a stranger. He replied, "Ma'am, I am a believer." And that's where we leave your morning headlines for now. Let's take a first look at your sport.
Well, we could all do with a little extra belief this morning, broaching those sporting headlines. South Africa suffered yet another loss at the ICC Cricket World Cup, with Bangladesh claiming a 21-run victory over Faf du Plessis' team at the Oval last night. In football on Saturday, Liverpool beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in the highly anticipated, somewhat disappointing Champions League final to be crowned the champions of Europe for an unbelievable 6th time. Staying with football, a young Bafana side went down to Botswana in the CASAFA Cup in a penalty shootout, ultimately after extra time at the Princess Makgoga Stadium in KwaMashu ended goalless, or rather all equal yesterday afternoon. And in rugby, finally Fiji not only claimed the Paris Sevens title, but were crowned overall World Series champions for the 4th time. That was after beating New Zealand in the final. South Africa walked away with the bronze medal after losing to New Zealand. And of course, the Cricket World Cup action continues today as England look to win their 2nd match of the tournament. They certainly seem like the favourites for me. That's when they take on an embattled Pakistan at 11:30 this morning.
Thank you, Graham. Well, time for us to take a look at those beautiful sunrise photos that's been coming through. A big thank you to Jakes Dupree, who sent us this gorgeous skyline. As you can see, that's Durban beachfront over there. Thank you for that beautiful picture. Today, expect sunny conditions in Durban, pleasantly warm temperatures with a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. On that note, let's look at the rest of the temperatures, starting off in Polokwane. Your low for today, it is 5. Your high is 23. Mbombela, 8, reaching a high of 25. Sunny in Pretoria, 7 with a high of 22. Johannesburg, 6, reaching a high of 20. Sunny conditions for Mahikeng with a high of 25. And a very cold start this morning for Cloudsdorp, a low of 5 with a high of 22. Sunny in Kimberley, 7, we're reaching a high of 23. The lowest temperatures can be found in Bloemfontein. Your low is 2, your high 21. Partly cloudy conditions for Richards Bay, 15, reaching a high of 25. Pietermaritzburg, sunny, reaching a high of 23. If you're in Durban, 16 with a high of 24. The highest humidity or high humidity can be expected in Mthatha today, 6, reaching a high of 22. East London, 13, reaching a high of 22. Partly cloudy in Cradock today, a low of 7, a high of 24. A northeasterly breeze can be expected in Port Elizabeth. Your low is 12, your high 22. George, 11, reaching a high of 24. Northwesterly breeze in Sutherland, 7, reaching a high of 19. Cape Town, 12, reaching a high of 21. Worcester, 8, 24. Springbok, 8, 26. And in Uppington, 9, reaching a high of 27. That's where we leave your weather.
So, of course, we were asking you this morning, what were your sporting highs? And, of course, a lot of lows, not just for everyone, I think, but obviously from my perspective, a couple of bruises this weekend. But from South Africa's perspective, Ash, Jeremy, a bit of a rough weekend. But there were some highs. There have to be some highs, guys. One high, one sporting high. Come on.
Oh, my
Graham.
daughter's hockey team won a... No, okay.
Did they not win?
Yeah, no, they won.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, so I couldn't take that out. I would have actually cancelled all sport this week. Well done, girl. I love that.
Are you okay, Graham?
I'm not, eh? I'm not. I warned you that I was too emotionally invested in this cricket already, but it's not over yet, eh?
No, it's not. By a long
By
shot.
A long shot, man. We'll delve into all of our weekend sporting action. We will find a high by the end of today's show. We will find one sporting high, but you can continue to connect with us on our social media, Expresso Facebook pages where you can start.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Graham Richards. Welcome from the rest of the Expresso family. I'm rolling up my sleeves to get into the sporting action. A rather hectic weekend, maybe one to forget from a South African perspective, certainly considering our national teams, the Proteas going down to Bangladesh, the Blitzboks going down to New Zealand, and Bafana losing to Botswana. But what was perhaps the biggest sports story coming out of this weekend, the UEFA Champions League final, Liverpool crowned the winners over Spurs, and for a sixth title. That is really impressive. Please stop the memes. Just stop the memes, guys. We've got our sports anchor, Jeremy Harris, and digital sports editor, Ashfaq Mohammed here to console me, man.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing about my sporting weekend, yesterday, David Coulthard found out that I was a Spurs fan, and he actually embraced me.
yeah.
A Scot embraced me.
I also gave you a hug this morning. I
You
think
did,
you needed
man.
it. But I wish,
Keep 'em
I think
coming.
there's a new meme coming. Wish Spurs had rolled up their sleeves like you did
Ooh,
now.
no one did.
sorry,
It was
but-
like a never-ran final,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So
Harry
many
Kane,
questions.
Harry Kane.
Was
I
he
see
the
on
mistake?
Friday.
Should he have
He
been?
shouldn't have started.
Yeah.
Perhaps off the bench, but I mean, Lucas Moura was missed totally. Kane hardly touched the ball in the first hour. I think
Harry
it was the
Winks,
last 25
both
minutes or so.
Harrys, I think, were probably not done a favour by being put in that team. Take nothing away from Liverpool, but maybe it was a bit of a damn squib because we expected so much from it. This was going to be the exhibition of English football after
But I
the
mean,
best season
how
ever.
about that start, though? I mean, I don't think there would have been any pundit would have said that would have been the way that the final would have started. And I mean, a lot of controversy in terms of the...
And poor Musa Sissoko as well, because he's been amazing this season. He's been probably one of the most improved Spurs players. But that could have gone two ways. That could have inspired Spurs to play attacking football, to wake up. And you could see the likes of Sonny was there. He was up for it. More of the few opportunities that he did get, he was up for it. But this maybe is balance to the force and what Klopp deserves, what this Liverpool side deserves after an
but I
unbelievable
think
season.
it spoiled the final as a result,
Thank you.
because then
Thank you for saying
Liverpool could just back off a bit, consolidate and the defensive structure and all of that, because it didn't force him to come out and play. Perhaps in the past as well, that wouldn't have been a penalty, but now with the sort of new focus from FIFA and that, anything, if you touch the ball in any possible way, it's a penalty. So really unfortunate. Yeah.
And Alisson as well. Let's take nothing away from that defensive back line that's gotten Liverpool this far. I think Alisson absolutely amazing, Van Dijk amazing.
Yeah.
So well done, the Reds.
Yeah, well done to the Reds. I mean, I think on sort of, on balance, it was probably the right decision in terms of, the universe, but so be it.
And he deserves to get one extra goal, man. He's had a fantastic season. Maybe hasn't got the plaudits that he deserves, but Jurgen Klopp, this certainly is something that I think Liverpool fans have earned over a long time.
He struggles to say it. He really struggles to say that.
So he gives out more than just hugs now, Jurgen Klopp.
Oh man, it's rough, man. No, take nothing away. I've got a lot of really good mates who are Liverpool fans. Believe it or not, I'm saying that in public, and it is thoroughly deserved. So well done to Liverpool, a 6th UEFA Champions League trophy.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. So I'm trying to find something positive. Let's talk COSAFA Cup. The pain. And again, it has to be against like one of our neighbours or someone really close. The pain of that. This was a young Bafana side. What do you make of to lose on penalties is never great. Because then it puts so much of that responsibility on one player, Tebogo Mokoena, obviously carrying the can for this one, having a spot kick.
But I would have thought that we would have had enough firepower to do the job in the regulation.
It looks like we did.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
they were 2-0 up, so you thought from there, okay, this game is done. Suddenly, and then they conceded equalizer in injury time, and what a mess. I hope things are going to get better in AFCON. Look, it will be a much stronger squad, obviously. And also the Keegan Dolly who was going to play, who subsequently picked up another injury in training in the week. So I hope he's going to be ready for AFCON.
How are you feeling about AFCON, honestly, here? Because now we're up against the big guns, and this is something we know that we've got a proud history there in heritage, but where Bafana is right now?
I mean, I suppose it doesn't make it sense, but I feel as if we've got a really good, platform to build from. I know it hasn't been the result we wanted, excuse me, but I think that what we're looking at is a Bafana squad which is different in a lot of respects to our COSAFA squad.
Yeah.
And I think Stuart Baxter is going to, really put them through the paces, point to the fact that you take nothing for granted, and will, get them on red alert straight away.
The prep
had
will be
some
much better,
continuity,
definitely.
Yeah.
It's going to be warm-up games and a whole camp and everything.
Yeah, and with a bit of fallout after a very busy year of football. So again, I look for something positive as we move to Paris. So the Paris Sevens, no, take nothing away. The Springboks, bronze medal, great. They've qualified for the Olympics after a shaky start. I think this is fait accompli.
Yeah, certainly with the squad that they had throughout the season, losing
The
players from
injuries, yeah.
Cape Town, Dubai, throughout, even the last week, some guys had to fly up for this tournament.
Yeah, in the last few days, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think it's a great effort to at least secure the Olympic qualification. That was goal number one. Now I think for next year, they're even going to get someone like Siabelos and Atla back for the Olympics. That's the plan.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I mean, yesterday I chatted to him about it, and he did admit if he gets chosen.
Yeah.
But I think he will
No,
get chosen.
he will get chosen.
And he set a 2-year now target on getting into the other green and gold, which is quite exciting to me. Super Rugby, just very quickly, one positive result.
Look, I mean, I quite like the fact that the Crusaders, it wasn't yet another win for them. It wasn't just a procession. I quite like the fact that the Chiefs really made them work and gave them a hard run on the weekend. I think that the Lions really surprised a lot of pundits in terms of the way they came away with the win against the Stormers.
Rugby, we love it.
And then I mean that 22-22 draw for the Bulls. who seem to be specialists at drawing rugby matches these days, but also something that was entertaining.
That kind of paints a picture of the entire Super Rugby season. If you're not expecting it, that's generally the result that we get.
And Sharks and Stormers flattening to deceive once again.
Thanks for bringing us back down. I mean, we found the Chiefs and the Crusaders finally took us back to a high, and they just dropped us back down. Well, we will find a silver lining with the cricket. No, we won't, but we'll still delve into all of our cricketing action. Of course, Bangladesh beating South Africa and showing a lot of class in doing that. We'll chat about that now.
Well, I'll tell you where there's positivity in South African sports, Graham. Casta Semenya. Yes, she continues to make us proud every day. Go, Cobra, go! Okay? Anyway, right now it's time for us to play our regular guessing game. Guess who? We want to know if your entertainment knowledge or knowledge of celebrity out there is up to scratch. We've got some clues, a blurred out picture. Let's see whether you can guess who.
Okay, well, here is our blurred out picture, and we've got some clues. Clue number 1. She's been in the South African film and TV industry since she was 15.
Wow.
She just won the award for inspiration and influence at the Global Social Awards 2019 in Prague.
Boom.
And in 2016, she graced the cover of Forbes Women Africa alongside 3 other women who were all given a headline for being the faces of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, in fact, Robert Marawa tweeted about her very recently. So, can you guess who? Link up with us on our social media pages, Facebook to be more specific, and you'll see the post over there and let us know whether you can guess who. But of course, all of the Feel Good still continues on the other side of a short break right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Happy Monday, man!
Happy Monday it is. Let's inject some positivity. Can I get a round of applause? Karen God is in the house! Guys, doesn't she look phenomenal? Hey, absolutely phenomenal. You're looking gorgeous. How are you doing?
I'm well, Graham. How are yourself?
We are, as you
you
can
doing good?
feel, a little bit down this morning, so we're going to need that voice today. We're going to need that gorgeous voice. It's been a little while, a beat since you've been on the show. What have you been up to? How's life in the world of Karen?
Lot of things, recording, you know. I've got my little project that I do. It's now my 4th year, but we will chat about that. But
Absolutely
things
love
have
it.
been going great. I found my mother over like 40 years.
Oh,
for the first time I
my
met
word.
my mother, biological mother. So a lot of things
That's
have happened.
massive.
It is.
That is a massive, massive
It
thing.
is.
We're going to delve a little deeper into what seems like a real gateway moment in your life, but that is so, so cool. Karen is here, yes, to chat and catch up, but she's also going to be performing for you this morning, so stick around. We'll see you in just a second.
To book your stay with SA's coolest hotel brand, visit protea.marriott.com today.
Ek het nie by die song. No. Mense sê die lewe is goed, maar van geboorte tot die dood. Met 'n sterk hart vol van moed, wat die donker nagte oorwin. Ek het geleer die lewe is seer, en niemand kan sy konkels vermy. Dis vol vreugde, verlies en vreugde, wat ons soms kan onderkry. Liefde en leed in ons bly.
Okay, guys, let's continue with the band for now. What do you think? Just like chorus or anything, just so for him to start.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Monday morning, and we thank you so much for joining us at the start of a brand new week. It is so good to be in your company, and so good right now to have the chance to get to know and chat to one of our favorites. She's a regular on the show. Karen Korkier is in the studio. Celebrate! Yululate. Thank you very much. Good to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
You're
lovely
looking
to be back.
absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Don't you
And
love the
there's lots,
dress?
I love it. I love your whole look, and there's lots to celebrate. I mean, before we went into our break, you mentioned you were reunited with your mom after
Yes.
40 years.
40 years. I'm turning 40 this year.
Oh, that's absolutely
wow.
What a journey.
incredible.
Please, are you able to share that story with us? I mean, it
Yes,
must
of
have been
course.
quite a journey.
It was an amazing. I think for me personally, it was also very life-changing. You know, a lot of unanswered questions, you know, were answered. She was 16 years old when she had me.
Yeah.
And they couldn't afford another child in the family. They were poor. And then she had to give me up for adoption. Not something that she wanted to do.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, you know, with everything that is happening in the world, what is the best thing to do? A 16-year-old falling pregnant, you know, you're poor. Then rather let somebody else who wants to raise a child take that baby. And that is what happened to me. But unfortunately for me, you know, there was a lot of unanswered questions. So I had to know who this person is and why. Because my adopted mother couldn't answer those questions.
Yeah.
So it was 40 years later, and I just said, no, this needs to now come to conclusion. I need to make peace with this. And I found her, and she answered those questions, and, you know, we're finding each other now. She's living by me now for 2 weeks. She's visiting, actually, going to my show. It's amazing. We're finding each other. It's just an amazing experience.
And getting to know each other. That's so beautiful.
Yes, and
That is-
getting to know each other.
Congratulations to that. Do you find that part of your life, has that influenced your music career in some way? Has it influenced the way you view life? Has it influenced the way you make music, the way you think about it?
I think in my personal life, it affected me a lot. There was moments where I felt like I didn't belong.
Wow.
You know, I needed to have an identity. I needed to know my bloodline. But luckily with my music, that is where I find comfort and a certain amount of peace. You know, I can go to my music and just go into it and, you know, somehow find healing in that. Understand? So my music was always there to uplift me. But in my personal life, there was a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
And you can always bring that through with your music, like
Exactly,
you said.
yes.
More people can relate to that.
Exactly.
But Karen, there's something happening very exciting, something very exciting on the 9th of June at the Cape Town City Hall.
That's right.
And there is emphasis being put on the advancement of youth, and it's perfect for Youth Month.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more what's happening on the 9th of June?
We are celebrating the youth. That is what we do. Divan Maestro is there we created the platform Divan Maestro so that we can showcase the talent, the kids out there who needs a platform, who needs the help and support. It's 4 years now, and we're also launching the Karen Korkier Foundation on the 9th. So it's going to be a big night for us, and also a big milestone, you know. It's not easy when you want to pursue something in life, you know, if you have a vision. It takes courage, it takes patience. You know, it's not always a smooth ride. But I can truly say with Camilla on my side and Basil Apollos and the kids, you know, 4 years later, we are where we are now. We're celebrating these kids, and we're celebrating their future.
Wow, that's incredible. The Karen Korkier Foundation. Details are on screen if you'd like to find out more. By the way, that's a stunning photo. It looks
you.
like the biggest concert ever. And of course, if you'd like to find out more, like I said, the details are on the screen, and cannot wait to hear live performances from Karen Korkier on this Monday morning. Make sure that you do not miss out on that. But of course, we've got to reflect back on what happened yesterday. Graham, it's with a painful heart that I now throw it back to you.
I'm going to put a positive spin on this morning if it kills me, okay? And it might just kill me this morning. Now, let's look at the best of human endeavor at the moment. There is undoubtedly a push to build a society defined by freedom, fairness, and opportunity for young people, especially and wherever they come from. It's a noble ideal which is becoming a reality through outstanding human beings like Siviwe Dukwana, overcoming his own odds when he chose to turn a terrible event in his family's life into an opportunity for others.
Our Mandela Monday hero today is Siviwe Dukwana, who was born and raised in Crossroads. And unlike many of his peers, Siviwe was lucky enough to attend a secondary school for high-performing learners. And out of the 250 learners that he went to primary school with, he was one of only 2 who made it to university. And this is what motivated him to start Ikamva Labantwana Bethu organization, which aims to empower the next generation.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good yourself?
Good, very good to meet you. What a really nice spot you've got here.
Thank you, thank you.
It's absolutely beautiful and you do great work here. You aim to commit, believe, grow and inspire. What guided this mission here at ILB?
We commit, we teach children and youth here about taking an extra step in everything that you do. We nurture people to grow, to inspire and to believe.
Loss and tragedy, referring to your brother, also motivated you to start ILB.
I lost my brother in Crossroads in 2003 on 16th December, on the day of reconciliation, and he was stabbed to death in Crossroads. And as a way of healing myself and my family, we had to come up with a project like Ikamva to restore and to prevent youth from participating in gang-related activities and to give them an option by providing them with after-school programs and skills development.
Ikamva offers a safe space to do homework with tutors running programs over holidays, helping children to get placed in high schools and to access bursary funds.
You launched the Youth Cafe in collaboration with the Western Cape's Department for Social Development. What was the motivation behind this and how exactly do you plan to use this cafe to empower young people in the area?
We have a crisis when it comes to youth unemployment, and there's a huge education gap. Now, the reason to partner with the Department of Social Development was to close this gap and to bring the necessary skills that the youth need from this community and to bring more opportunities that would assist young people to access better employment opportunities and to further their education and training.
Through coming to this after-school program, it has helped me a lot because now my marks are more higher, because when I came here, I came with 4s in my report, but now I go out with 7s, and I really thank the directors and all the tutors for that.
This program I enjoy, my marks is good now, and I have a good space to learn better and have new friends.
I enjoy to come in this program because they will make some exercise to our body so that we can be fresh and we improve our marks than before. When I was in grade 4, I get low marks in English and maths, so they assist me in those subjects.
Those who go through Ikamva and prosper return to support the children following in their footsteps.
You also train young university students to come on board as tutors. How exactly do you do this?
We assist university students to come here and offer support to township kids in maths, science, and English. They are true examples of young people who have journeyed from township into university. So having them around here motivates our students to also hope to get into university and to further their studies, to become just like our university students who are tutors here.
What have you enjoyed personally and taken out of the work that you do here at Ikamva?
It makes me feel very good to see people change, to see people transform, and seeing people becoming the best version of themselves. Beginning of this year, we've seen about 10 of our kids who were in the ILB class of 2012 get into university. And we've also assisted over 30 kids from Crossroads since 2012 until now to gain admission into higher performing high schools around Cape Town. And those schools are the Leap Science and Med School, Claremont High School, Crystal House, Cape Academy of Med Science and Technology, and the School of Hope. And in those schools, they are fully supported. They have very high chances of gaining admissions in university once they finish their matric.
Saviwa knows that crimes and lifestyles born of a lack of opportunity can be avoided, young and teenage lives can be transformed, and a nation built with better education.
Very inspirational message so early on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Karen Corky is still with us in studio. Sis Princess, what's on the menu today?
A blueberry muffins.
Ooh, blueberry muffins. Karen, are you a tea or a coffee person?
I'm a tea girl.
How do you drink your tea?
2 sugar, my love.
Oh,
Sirloin with some milk.
Sis Princess will sort you out. Blueberry muffin?
Well, my diet.
I'll have it. I'll have it. I'll take
Can
a
we
blueberry.
share,
We
baby?
can share.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we're going to share that muffin and get a cup of tea, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you shortly. Thank you, Princess.
Enjoy a moment in between with McAfee. See you after the break.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso on a beautiful Monday morning, overflowing with positivity and the love of the beautiful game. If you're a Reds fan, let's talk about 6 big. I'm trying to get the Jurgen Klopp grin.
You need straight the teeth with that.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, of course, we connected with you on social media to get your high point.
Yeah, let's try and see if we can find some over here.
find
Obviously,
way.
a lot of people raving about the Champions League final, like Shane here, who basically gave us the lyrics to Let's Talk About 6, baby. If you're wondering how it goes, that's how it goes.
Look for the meme,
I was
yeah.
trying to draw positivity from this one here. Balis is saying, good morning. I didn't have any highlights, but just disappointment. But my highlight for the weekend is me making it to the top of Lion's Head, and it was my first time hiking. Yes, I've been celebrating with you.
What's your daughter's name?
Luca.
You have to think about that. That's a problem. And Luca's hockey team also dominated this weekend. Well done,
Yeah,
Luca.
the Blitzbokke also featuring among them here. The Lions beating the Stormers. Okay, but let's quickly just stop beating about the bush. We know what we're here to do, okay?
Yeah.
We're here to discuss the tragedy that is the Cricket World Cup right now. And I'm not quite sure how to contextualize it and go, there is positivity to be drawn out of this as a South African fan, especially in this big year of sporting World Cups.
Yeah, man, you pumped, dude. I can feel it.
Gents.
It's not too late, so let's not be overly dramatic here.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when you've got India just around the corner, smelling blood in the kind of form that they are, you know, we talk about Kohli all the time. He's like a great white shark now, I would imagine. And you go down to one of the perceived weaker teams, a minnow. But is that no longer the case? Bangladesh, they've proven their credentials, man.
Bangladesh have beaten everybody, so it's not as if they're going to go and, well...
Not just us.
They've added us to the list. But, I mean, they've beaten everybody, so they would have come into that game feeling reasonably confident, and they would have been very excited when Faf du Plessis said, why don't you have a bat? Because that would have been, I would have thought, the decision we should have made. We should have gone to bat.
because it kind of allowed their batsmen to get a foothold, first of all, but they've got to deliver. They need to do that, but it allowed them to play that balance of the slow game, and their spin bowlers were superb.
Cass Naidu posted something quite interesting on Twitter, saying that in order to do well in the World Cup, you've got to start with a squad that is fully fit to begin with. Do you think this is having quite a dramatic effect on our performance?
No,
players
because you may have a plan, but you can't execute it because of X, Y, and Z. Now, Dale Steyn isn't fit. Lungi Gedi breaks down. Hashim Amla got knocked in the head. You know, just everything just went pear-shaped from the start, from the toss, making the wrong. Everybody would have batted first, but yet the Proteas captain decides to bowl. It just didn't make sense. It was on the same pitch as the England game. Surely it was going to be slower and lower if you bat second. So why would you bowl first?
But even yet, at some point, I felt like there was hope. Quinny was in and he was doing the good things. That ridiculous run-out happens. Faf is looking good. He passes the half-century mark, and he looks like he's really in. The ball is probably this size in his head, and he decides to go for the most ridiculous shot ever at 27 overs.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the one thing, it's not World Cup related, but there's a lot of bad habits that the players have learnt over T20 and IPL tournaments, and it seems like we're struggling to sort of get rid of the T20 and IPL.
Play yourself in.
Just play yourself in. You've actually got 50 overs, guys, not 20.
Right?
And also with that, Rassie van der Dussen's been batting number 4 throughout the season. Suddenly he's pushed down to 5. David Miller gets sent in ahead of him. Why? There was enough overs for Rassie to get himself in. He's been solid, really composed at the crease throughout the year. But now you put him under extra pressure, and that's why he played uncharacteristic shot. He's normally so cool.
And that's the thing, is as much as that pressure wasn't there immediately, there was always looming like, okay, we need to kick on, we need to kick on. What's the remedy, guys? Let's pick ourselves up, let's move forward. Are we in a situation now where we need to start thinking about replacing players that are injured? Can you do that in the midst of a World Cup if you've got this many injured players? What are the options now?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of, absolutely, there are options in terms of replacing injured players. So, I mean, for example, Hashim Amla, you know, if, for example, he comes out that the concussion is much more serious, although I'm hearing that he's potentially coming back, but that might just be...
I mean, a concussion is no...
No, you never take a chance with that.
Exactly,
you never take a chance. So, I mean, he's a candidate if a replacement is needed. Dale Steyn went into that tournament having not played a single game in terms of warm-ups, and in fact now looks like he might not play even on Wednesday when we take on India. So there are a couple of candidates in terms of replacements. Will we call on the replacements, or will we stick to our guns and go, we've got the squad we wanted to have, but we're not getting the results we want to have?
Look, particularly with the bowling plan. The plan has been bowl short, bomb them out. And it didn't work in both games. So I think they've got to change strategy. You can't just continue doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. We've got the Brace Shamsi, who's also left-arm wrist spinner. Imi Tahir has done fairly well in these 2 games. So perhaps throw in another spinner, because the pace isn't working. Chris Morris bowled well up to the 8th over. The last 2 overs he got smashed.
And that was the difference, actually. Those last kind of 4 or 5 overs were the difference.
So, and there's nothing coming through with the bat there, so why not throw in another bowler and perhaps restrict then the other team by taking wickets?
But I think just one thing, you know, worth noting is the fact that, and I think we said it, is the fact that this tournament isn't over by a long shot.
Thank you.
Not by a long shot. Every team has got to play 9 games, and you could probably mathematically get away with losing sort of 3 or 4 to still make the top 4.
You see, that's not how I want to think. I'm so sorry. As a Protea Fire supporter, I never ever want to think that, like, okay, we've got this many to lose.
We've got 2 more to lose.
And I'm kind of thinking, with the situation that we've got now, who are the players that you look at and you go, the pressure is squarely on you. We've got bowling injuries, we've got potential batting injuries right now. The lineup isn't looking the way that we would have ideally liked to have had it. Who do you look at and go, this is your time to perform now. This is why
the senior players.
You may be the senior players.
The captain has played 2 poor shots in both games, you know, getting himself out unnecessarily.
And could have gone on to a time easily.
The first game as well, poor shot. Second game,
Poor
sort
decision.
of, it's half and half, that run out with Markram called him, but surely he shouldn't have gone out of his crease. The ball just went behind him. So, you know, those totally irresponsible,
also,
unnecessary.
Aiden should have fell on his sword there. I mean, you called it, was behind him.
Yeah.
You called it, so go.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Simple as that.
I'm sure they had chats.
Oh, I'm
so
so angry.
they had chats.
I'm so angry.
I thought, guys, I really thought this process work that we did as a group. Our group therapy would have helped us this morning. But it really hasn't. But later today, good luck, Pakistan, coming up against England. England seem to be putting their hand up as the favourite for me. In front of their home crowd, they are absolutely amazing. Stokes will stoke the fire at 11:30. You can catch all of that action live. Guys, I'm sorry that we had to drag you through all of this again, but we'll bring you back.
on Wednesday.
We'll bring you back. You can continue to share some love. Stoke the Protea fire this morning. We'd love to hear from you on all of our social media
Peace in the
platforms.
mild
You
panic
never
in our
walk
eyes.
Never.
Please, can we just take a break from all of the depressing sports talk for now? Karen Kortke is still with us in studio, and I need to ask you, is birthdays a big thing in your household?
Oh yes, oh yes. For me, I don't think it's that much for the boys, but it's for me. I like to make a big fuss about birthdays.
Oh, well, listen, we love making a big fuss about our viewers' birthdays, and we're going to do that after the break. So please, can we ask you just to sing whoever's celebrating their birthday today a special happy birthday message?
Yes, of course. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Only you can make my day.
Cadbury Dairy Milk shines the light on the generosity that lives inside each and every one of us. So we encourage all South Africans to bring your old toys to any of their pop-up little generosity shops and receive a slab of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate on us. Get to those shopping centres on these dates, May through August, and let's inspire a little more Cadbury goodness in the world.
Reese, what's your birthday wish?
My birthday wish is for there to be peace for pandas and dogs.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Feel it, feel it. That was lovely, man. Got the shoulder jive. Hey. Love it, man. Welcome to it. Thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. We are going to kind of liven things up just a little bit, get into some birthdays. If you'd like to send a birthday wish, you can just simply WhatsApp it to 071 640 6551, or you can email it to birthdays@cordova.tv. We love to get videos, and we've been begging you for videos, and we've got a video!
Yes, we have, and a very special one, because Reese Jones is turning 10, and his mom says he has a very special gift, and she loves you very, very much, and she is very proud of you, Reese, and she is saying he has a very special video that we'd love to share with us, so take a listen.
Reese, what's your birthday wish?
My birthday wish is for there to be peace for pandas and dogs.
Oh, man.
I really love that little namaste at the end there. How cute was his top? It looked like a little Pooh Bear on a rocket going to
I dream of
moon.
outer space.
I dream of outer space. Dude, you're a cool kid, Reese.
Happy birthday,
You're a cool,
Reese.
cool
You're
dude.
double digits.
Thanks,
there we
man,
go.
for
Reese,
that.
I hope the world receives your blessing in that wonderful
Didn't that make you
way.
feel a lot better, actually?
I just want to start my Monday like
Thank
Reese.
you, Reese.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, man.
To you, Reese. Thank
We
you.
love you, dude.
Well, we have another birthday. This one's it's Kyle Liam November's crown birthday. The 3rd of June, of course, is his 3rd birthday, and his mommy and daddy loves him to the moon and back. So happy birthday, Kyle. We also have a special happy birthday to Melanie Smith for today. So happy birthday, Melanie.
Absolutely. Then also, Ntogozo, mom sent us this special message saying, I have a daughter, her name is Ntogozo Portia. This girl is my world and I can't wait to celebrate her. Happy birthday, Ntogozo. Then Martha and Jake Hine celebrated their 79th birthday on Saturday. Their children and grandchildren wish them lots of happiness and blessings. Wow, so it's the same birthday. Wow. That's amazing.
cool.
1st of
A
June,
reason to
turning
unite.
79, looking amazing.
That is lovely. Then we've got Angelo, Nicole, Alex Xavier, and Nikasha. We'd like to wish Opa Eugene Titus a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Eugene. Loved by your family. And then Akifa is turning 17, and her family would like to wish her a very happy birthday. Mommy, Dada, Ziad, and Aisha love you very, very much.
Are those
Gorgeous
3 different
girl.
pictures?
I'm
Yes.
assuming
It's like
so.
the edit function.
Okay.
Cut and
Collage.
Happy birthday, Akifa.
It's very
Happy
cool.
birthday.
Then Damon McGrain is celebrating his 21st, or celebrated 21st on Sunday, and Marshall Moore hopes he had an amazing day. So happy birthday,
Damon. Looking very dapper, dude.
And then June celebrated her birthday. This was on Saturday, and her husband wanted to wish her a very happy birthday. So June, from all of us and your husband, happy birthday.
Excellent. Also, Diago Jackson has a very special birthday video for his best friend, Portia Jacobs. Take a look.
Hey, Diago.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
All right then.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, hey, come through
what
now.
a voice.
Come through with the five.
Hey, what a voice. Now that's what birthday wishes are all about, man.
That's what we
I
love.
love
That's
that.
what
How
we
much
love.
better do you feel now that you've helped share in the joy of some amazing people this morning? If we missed you, happy birthday. Have a special day. Make sure that the people around you love you and spoil you today. And if you want to spoil someone else on their birthday, you can let us know when that special day is. Of course, that WhatsApp line 0716406551 or birthdays@cordova.tv if you'd like to mail us something.
Absolutely. All right, time for some music right now. You
Yeah,
guys ready
man.
for some music?
Yes.
I certainly am. Karen
Look at
Cortier
this.
is in the studio. She's doing phenomenal things with her journey of success and inspiration. And she's also here to brighten up your Monday with some beautiful music. A song right now called Liefde en Leed.
Mensen sê die lewe is goed, maar van geboorte tot die dood. Met 'n sterk hart vol van moed, wat die donker nagte oorwin. Ek het geleer die lewe is seer en niemand kan sy konkels vermy. Dis vol vrede, verlies en vreesde wat ons soms kan onderkry. Liefde en leed en narensvlei. Hulle sê die liefde gee jou goue vlerke om te vlieg, maar vlieg
Karen Korke on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Do head on over to our Expresso Facebook page and let us know what you thought of that amazing performance. It's now time to look at the news. We start with national news. New Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, has instructed the rail safety regulator to speedily investigate the rail collision at the Eerste Fabrieke station in Mamelodi, Pretoria on Saturday. Preliminary reports indicate that the Transnet contracted tamping machine collided with a new Metro Rail train at the Eerste Fabrieke station. It is alleged that the tamping machine rolled from Greenview back to Eerste Fabrieke station, where the Metro Rail train was stationary with commuters on board. Paramedics treated 11 people for serious injuries, while a further 39 were treated for minor injuries. And the South African Reserve Bank Governor, Lesetja Kganyago, has called on African countries to be smarter when borrowing money. He says debt is not a replacement for domestic revenue mobilization. He was delivering his opening address at the African Economic Research Consortium's 50th biannual plenary underway in Cape Town. The plenary brings together more than 200 researchers, academics, policymakers and economists to discuss the rising debt levels facing by African countries and the challenges such debt pose to the growth of countries on the continent. We now move across borders, where the Zimbabwean Treasury's introduction of a 2% tax on all electronic transactions has yielded positive results beyond the government's expectations. Speaking at a media briefing at the aforementioned African Economic Research Consortium's plenary, Zimbabwe's Deputy Reserve Bank Governor, Kupikile Mlambo, said what this 2% tax on electronic transactions has done is that it has managed to bring in the informal sector which normally doesn't pay taxes. And for the first time in almost 6 years, Zimbabwe has a surplus on its budget. And a cruise ship crash in Venice has reignited calls for large vessels to be banned from one of the city's major waterways, the Gaia Deca Canal. 4 people were injured yesterday when the MSC Opera, a 275-meter-long ship, collided with a dock and a small tourist boat after losing control. Critics say such ships pose a conservation risk to the lagoon city, polluting its waters and mar its beauty. Ministers said the crash proved the need for a ban on liners and that they were working to resolve the problem. And finally, vets sure walked the extra mile in being kind to extraordinary patients during this past week. First, there was the adorable story of an Amanzimtoti vet, Dr. Tammy McNair, from the Sidun Veterinary Clinic, who fixed 4-year-old Lamika LaRue's sick puppy, Marshall. Now, Lamika thought Marshall, who's actually a stuffed toy, needed to see a vet, and Dr. Tammy stepped in. And way over yonder in Washington, USA, another vet did a groundbreaking beak repair surgery on a Great Dane's favorite toy. Justice, the Great Dane, loves her rooster toy but accidentally chewed its beak off. They rushed the toy into emergency surgery and even let Justice scrub in as an assistant. Justice observed closely as the vet at Companion Animal Hospital stitched the rooster back together. And on that note, that's where we leave your morning headlines. Let's take a look at the sport.
I'll bring us back down to earth. Let's start with cricket. South Africa suffered another loss at the ICC Cricket World Cup, with Bangladesh claiming a hard-fought 21-run victory over Faf du Plessis' team at the Oval last night. Bangladesh posting a record 330 for 6, with Shakib Al Hassan hitting 75 and Mushfiqur Rahim reaching a top score of 78 for his team on the day. The Bangladeshi batsman showed no fear against the Proteas attack. That was already missing an injured spearhead, Dale Steyn, and was further weakened by a hamstring issue with Lungi and Giri, and that saw only 4 overs for the bowler on the day. Then on the footballing front, of course, Saturday, Liverpool beat Spurs 2-0 in the highly anticipated Champions League final to be crowned champions of Europe for a 6th time. Star striker Mohamed Salah scored one of the fastest ever goals in a Champions League final, with a penalty coming in the 2nd minute of the match. Liverpool's second goal came from substitute Divock Origi. Certainly has risen to the occasion. He struck late to seal the win for his team. So the Reds have won their 6th European Cup, further cementing their status as one of football's most story clubs, undoubtedly. And staying with football, a young Bafana side went down to Botswana in the Kasafa Cup in a penalty shootout. That was after extra time at the Princess Makgoka Stadium in KwaMashu yesterday afternoon. South Africa blew up a 2-goal lead with goals coming from Luther Singh and Graf Merkman to eventually lose 5-4 on penalties against a full-strength Botswana side. The Zebras responded with goals from Lebogang Ditsele and Tatayone Dekonkwe before the break to send the game to a penalty shootout that sent the team into the next round of the competition, while sadly Bafana obviously crashed out. Then on the rugby front, finally, Fiji not only claimed the Paris Sevens title, but were crowned overall World Series champions for the 4th time. That was after beating New Zealand in the final, while South Africa walked away with the bronze medal. Fiji held their nerve at the Stade Jean Bouin to deny USA their first ever series title, beating them in the semi-final 33-14 to actually seal the deal before claiming that 35-24 win over New Zealand. The Blitzboks beat the USA 24-7 and finished 4th overall as the 2018-2019 7 Series concluded, but they have earned qualification for the next Olympics. And of course, the Cricket World Cup action continues today. England look to win their second match of the tournament. Certainly they are the favourites, undoubtedly, and that's when they take on an embattled Pakistan, looking to bounce back after their loss to the West Indies. And that kicks off at 11:30 this morning.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening right now on your roads, shall we? The price of petrol is set to increase by 6 cents per litre, costing you 16 Rand 70 cents per litre, and diesel is set to increase by 17 cents per litre, costing you 15 Rand 11 cents per litre, and this is due to the introduction of the carbon tax. Ha! Lovely stuff. Let's take a look at the roads right now in KwaZulu-Natal on the N2 northbound. There's been an accident between Valley View Road and Isundu Drive, obstructing the left lane. Heavy delays can be expected there. There's also a stationary vehicle, taking a look at the Western Cape in Bellville more specifically, a stationary vehicle there on the N1 inbound after Durban Road. The emergency lane is obstructed, and so please do approach with caution. And taking a look at the Metro Rail, the Northern Line, there is an extended travel time of between 40 to 45 minutes on the Wellington Line due to TFR signalling restrictions between Bellville and Brackenfell. Faulty signalling there, the equipment and the defective track circuits being the cause of you having to just maybe adjust your travel times and plan accordingly. And there is your update in terms of your travel. But right now, let's take a look at the weather, shall we? And in terms of the weather, we've asked you to send us some beautiful sunrise pictures, and Leon Fenter has obliged us a spectacular sunrise picture from Sea Park in KZN. Leon, thank you very much. And over there, you can expect sunny conditions with warm temperatures reaching a maximum of 22 degrees. And now let's take a look at more specific temperatures as they relate to your city. Polokwane, you can expect a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 23. Sunny conditions over there. In Mbombela, between 8 and 25. Pretoria, 7 and 22. Johannesburg, 6 and 20. Moving over to the Northwest Province, Mahikeng, 6 to 25. There'll be a cold start in the morning for Klerksdorp, 5 and 22, but sunny conditions can be expected throughout the day. In Kimberley, in the Northern Cape, 7 and 23. The lowest temperatures in the country can be found in Bloemfontein between 2 and 21 degrees Celsius. Richards Bay, 15 and 25. Pietermaritzburg, 8 and 23, and Durban, 16 and 24. High humidity can be expected in Mthatha, and temperatures there ranging from a low of 6 and a high of 22. East London, 13, 22. Craddock, 7 to 24. A northeasterly wind of about 13 kilometers per hour can be expected throughout Port Elizabeth, and your temperatures there ranging between 12 and 22. George, 11 and 24. In Sutherland, a northwesterly wind of about 13 kilometers per hour can be expected throughout the day. Partly cloudy conditions and temperatures ranging between 7 and 19. Cape Town, 12 and 21. Worcester, 8 and 24. Springbok, 8 to 26, and rounding off with the highest temperatures in the country in Uppington between 9 and 27. But no matter the weather in your part of the country, here's to hoping you have a magnificent Monday.
Oh, well, listen, we are spreading the Margie love, and Angie is with us in studio. It's so good to have you back. It's been a while since I've been in the kitchen with you. I'm happy to learn something new.
You were stalking Ange on Instagram there. Did you see anything
Great to buy
inspiring?
Angie. Do go check her out. She posts the most beautiful sweet treats and cakes. Angie, what are we making today?
Sticky toffee pudding.
Is this the best sticky toffee pudding recipe ever in the world, ever?
More than likely,
yes. Yes, it is. We're going to say undoubtedly, and the keyword is clover. If you want to bake along with us, it does look and smell amazing, delicious, all sorts of sweetness going on here. I'm loving the mashed up dates.
Yeah.
That's such a clever.
That's the key.
It's going to be toffee, it's going to be sticky, and then we're going to put lashings of our clover classic custard on top. So it's an indulgent breakfast, but we'll have it anyway. We'll see you in a moment.
Science reaches for the truth. It works for the big and small, for the old and young. And with knowledge as our first ingredient, science is at the heart of our food. For differences you can see, feel, and trust. It all starts with science.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, injecting all the feel-good into your Monday morning. Thanks a lot for joining us on your feel-good breakfast show. Now, last week, Stats SA released their General Household Study for 2018. If you don't know what this is, it's a collection of data from consumers across South Africa, and it gives a pretty interesting look at the average household on a wide variety of metrics, which include health, education, access to drinking water, and transport. And this morning, we're going to unpack some of the stats with a specific focus on communications. And joining us is our friend in tech, Brian Smith, always ready to lend an ear and expertise.
This is always very much. Dude, such a revealing thing always, because it gives us a chance to see if we're normal or not and where we sit in the greater scheme of things. But the communication thing is obviously a bit of a new area, a new territory for us, and where probably some of the biggest shifts are happening within our culture.
Most
so it's
definitely.
interesting to see what's going to be happening in our households. When we talk about communication specifically, what do the stats say? Does anyone still have a landline? Anyone?
Well, it might surprise you, I do.
Well, retro, yeah.
So that's pretty interesting if you consider in the past couple of years there's actually been a massive shift away from landlines.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's not surprising. We see in South Africa that consumers are far more ready to head towards a mobile connection. In often cases, they might actually have two phones with two different SIM cards to compete essentially between the best mobile data packages and calling packages. But we generally see as well is that more and more consumers where terrestrial connections are available through ADSL, they're increasingly moving away and opting for fiber connections and replacing their landlines with VoIP, which is VoIP, stands for Voice over Internet Protocol, which essentially lets you run a landline connection over the internet. So in the broad senses of the word, we're essentially moving away from landlines, and there's going to be less reliance on copper cables in the future.
I feel like we all know these things, but it's that when they're defined in the real technical terms, then it just your mind a little bit. It just
When it
bends
becomes the norm.
It bends it. But okay. But all of this then leads us to the next question, which is of course course, internet connectivity, because that's how we communicate with the world right out there. So in terms of South Africa, which provinces lead the way?
It's perhaps not unsurprising that our biggest metros lead the way. So, for example, Gauteng and the Western Cape lead the way with regards to internet access. And again, it's pretty interesting to note that these are two provinces in the country wherein there's been a massive drive, not only in terms of terrestrial connections, installing fiber to the home, but additionally, we see consumers opting for mobile devices specifically to use at free Wi-Fi points throughout different provinces and government departments. And increasingly, we see that that's the way people are preferring to access the internet for as little cost as possible.
Yeah, and I think cities are beginning to realize that there's a great way of engaging with your people. You can build databases, build networks by offering free Wi-Fi. You're engaging and empowering. But what holds sway at the moment? How are people accessing the internet the most?
Yeah, it's perhaps unsurprising that people are actually still opting to connect to the internet through work. Obviously, most large corporates...
Cheapskates. You're all cheapskates, man. Come on, man.
Well, it actually shows that the South African consumer is really savvy when we consider how we connect to the internet.
Yeah.
Given in South Africa that we do have a very expensive climate
We have
in
to
that
be,
regard.
yeah.
Most large corporate networks will have their own instance of the internet, whatever connection they use, and most people will typically connect to that either on a Wi-Fi connection or through a terrestrial cabled connection at their workplace. The second most interesting fact therein is that after the workplace, most consumers opt for a mobile connection rather than what we call a terrestrial connection.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And when we come back to the second part of our conversation, we're going to focus on things like rural areas, for instance, and how the development of internet connectivity, access to information.
There, man.
Absolutely great business opportunities over there. All of that, of course, with Brian Smith. Very short.
Stay connected. That's
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.
Well, listen, Eid is around the corner and it's now time to start thinking of all of those delicious sweet treats you will be adding to your table. And why not mix things up this year and include this delicious sticky toffee pudding on your menu? Now, this Mama Bake recipe will definitely be a keeper. And here to show us exactly how to put it together, we have pastry chef Angie Garba with us in studio. She's baked by Angie on social media. So, Chef Angie, I'm very excited to make a sticky toffee. Look at that.
Yeah, one of my favorites for winter.
It looks messy and it looks gooey and it looks delicious.
It is. It's really good.
So where do we start? Of course.
Okay, it's a very straightforward recipe, as you know, a pudding should be.
Okay.
So you've got your fat, margarine, and then we're going to cream this with some nice soft brown sugar. So it's the muscovado sugar, the one that's got the treacle in it.
Okay. And the Mama Bake, they contain 80% fat, and that's what you want for this recipe.
Yes, you need a full fat marge. If you sort of use the spread, there's too much water in it, and it's not going to work as well as a bake.
Okay.
So you need to use the full fat, definitely.
Okay, and Mama Bake is also rich with vitamin A and vitamin D, so we're adding that.
Right. So we're creaming together the fat and the sugar. And if we had a lot more time, I would cream this till it was very light and fluffy, but we're a little bit short on time.
Okay. Is this something you cream by hand, or can you also pop it in the machine for
I would definitely use the machine.
Okay.
And the hand mixer is great for this, because it's a small recipe, so to try and put it in a big machine is going to be tricky.
Okay.
But just use the hand mixer. I'm going to use a whisk now, because it's a little easier. I find a whisk is my best tool.
Okay.
So we've got this, and this would technically go to very light and fluffy, but it's just a time issue. So, and then we add our eggs. So a little bit like making a cake.
There we go.
And the basis of it really is a sponge cake. And what we've done before we started with this was to actually get some dates softened. So we've got 200 grams of dates here, and it's mixed with water. What I actually do, you can just put boiling water over, leave it to stand until it's softened. But I actually just boil it up because it just makes it go faster.
Okay, is that how you softened your dates?
Yes.
Do you remove the pip beforehand,
definitely.
or you buy without the pip?
Buy without the pip. That's the trick. Don't do what I've done before, where I've actually left the pips in.
Okay.
And then you really battle to get them out.
It's a messy situation to get yourself.
You've got to sift through all those dates, try to get the pips out. Right. So we're just going to mix that. Add the next egg.
There we go.
So fat, sugar, and then eggs. And then we're going to add our dry ingredients.
Okay, so you started off with the wet. Of course, our keyword this morning is clover. If you'd love to have this recipe, this sticky toffee pudding that we're busy making, sent directly to your phone. That includes the ingredients, the steps to the recipe. It's clover to 33728. So just SMS that keyword clover for this recipe.
Right, okay, so we've got our eggs in, and then we've got our self-raising flour. And a pinch of salt. I always add a pinch of salt to everything. It just brings out all the other flavours. So we mix that in. And then we've got our dates. Now, what I would normally do is add the bicarb. So you would boil your dates. Then when they're nice and soft, but they're still warm, you add the bicarb and it fizzes up, and it actually helps to soften the dates even more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little trick. But we'll add this
Bicarb's
bicarb in here.
amazing. I use it to clean everything.
So do I. Bicarb and vinegar.
Bicarb and vinegar cleans everything.
It's brilliant.
There we go.
Okay, so we've got our softened dates, and this is sort of the key to the sticky toffee pudding. It's what makes it lovely and
It's gonna
sticky
add that
and
sweetness to it
toffee-ish.
as well. Yes.
Yeah. And then we've got our mix here, a little bit of vanilla essence.
And this is quite an arm workout.
It is an arm work. Whenever you do something by hand, it's an arm workout, isn't it? First thing in the morning
Yes.
is really what you need.
This is your gym for the week.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we've got our batter. And if it's a little thick, and sometimes it is, you can just add a little extra milk just to soften it back down again till it's soft drop consistency. That goes into your baking dish, so a greased baking dish, obviously like a Pyrex dish or whatever you're going to use. Into the oven, 180. You can add some nuts if you want. You know, if you are allergic, don't.
Yes.
But
Stay away from the nuts.
if you enjoy the nuts, sometimes I actually add them afterwards.
Okay. So we'll bake
on
that
top.
in the oven at 180
About
degrees.
180
For how
until
long?
it's got that springy to the touch texture when you're done. That's how you know when a baked good is done.
Okay.
When you can press it on top and it bounces back.
Amazing.
And then while it's baking, you would get on with your sauce. So we've again got our marge.
There we go.
And
Our mama baker's in there.
again, we've got some brown sugar. In this part with the sauce, you don't have to use the sticky brown sugar. You could just use white sugar or normal straight brown sugar. And that just gets mixed together with some cream.
There we go. We are using our Clover fresh cream.
So this is a lovely recipe for putting on some weight. If you need to fatten up
Like,
for
listen,
winter.
it's a nice, delicious treat, and it's going to be
divine.
enjoyed guilt-free. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. The thing about a treat is you just have it once in a while, don't you?
Exactly. All in moderation. You've added some vanilla.
A little vanilla, and then you would let this boil up until your sugar's nice and dissolved and everything looks creamy. And then as that pudding comes out of the oven and it's still warm, you pour the warm sauce over it, and then it'll soak right in.
How amazing. Well, if you've missed any of the steps or any of the instructions Angie has just told us, we've got a quick recap for you.
If you're a pudding person, then the sticky sponge cake covered in toffee sauce and custard has to go into your recipe book. To make a Clover Mama Bake sticky toffee pudding, pour 200 milliliters of boiling water over 200 grams of pitted dates and set aside. In a bowl, add 75 grams of Clover Mama Bake, 75 grams of muscovado sugar, and beat until light and fluffy. Next, whisk in 2 large eggs, 150 grams of self-raising flour, a teaspoon of bicarb soda, and beat to combine and then set aside. Using a fork, mash the soaked dates and add it to the batter. Next, add 150 grams of chopped pecan nuts and fold them into the batter. Add the batter to a greased baking dish and bake at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes. To make the sauce, add 1 cup of Clover fresh cream to a pot. Then add 150 grams of Clover Mama Bake, 300 grams of muscovado sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Cook the sauce for 10 minutes until thickened. Then pierce holes into the pudding and pour over all of that decadent toffee sauce. Serve with loads of Clover classic custard. Sticky, sweet, and mouth-watering, this Clover Mama Bake sticky toffee pudding is a quintessential dessert for your winter menu.
Made with love by Clover.
Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed this Mama Bake sticky toffee pudding that Angie made for us. She's adding a little bit of nuts to the finished product because this came out the oven, you've poured the sauce over, and now it's just a decorative little bit of nuts.
Extra nuts for the bit of crunch. Yeah.
And then also you can serve it with some Clover custard.
Definitely, I would always serve it with custard. That makes
And
it
some ice
delicious.
cream?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, listen, options to serve is endless, of course, if you want this recipe sent directly to your phone. Our keyword this morning is Clover to 33728. Chef Angie, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Okay, well, I'll take this to the boys. There we go.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.
Wow. Right, I sense a test of our, because we're both trying to get back into like healthy
into the
eating
health.
mind.
Oh my
come on, man.
goodness! What
Let's
is?
just try it.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is sticky toffee pudding.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
have to-
Here we go.
I'll
And
get
get in
custard,
there.
yeah?
Get in there.
Okay, wait. Let's just
A
get a bit
moment
of
on
the.
the lips.
Don't
A few
even do
weeks
that.
on the hip.
Stop it,
Don't
man.
even do
Have
that.
you eaten any of this?
I'll have now.
It's just so
I
good.
don't have a spoon. I'll get one
How
now.
is that toffiness, that toffee
Wait,
flavor?
pass me the bowl.
There we go.
Crunchiness.
I just-
No, don't go to the dark
It's
side.
just so good though. I can't help myself.
Don't go to the dark side.
Okay.
We'll see you in just a moment. We're going
That's
to talk
breakfast.
more tech.
Bless
very
you,
revealing
Angie.
survey
Bless you.
on South Africa's households. We'll see how we are feeling about communication after the break.
Oh, Lord, save
Don't
your
do it.
children.
Do it now.
Have you ever wanted to be a brand ambassador? To be the face of South Africa's favorite skincare brand? Well, now you can. Last year, I had the honor to be selected as the new face of Ponds. And if you think you have what it takes, simply enter by purchasing any Ponds product and visiting faceofponds.co.za to upload your photo, your bio, and the last 4 digits of your product's unique barcode. I am the face of Ponds. Are you?
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends that somebody asked unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast, ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Oh, that's you. Ever just the same, and never a surprise, ever as before.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show, live, large and in charge on a Monday morning, part 2 of our Tech Talk.
Before we do anything, guys,
Yeah.
the harmonising, the sound check that we've just heard.
Oh, yes.
Carl and Cook here,
Oh, yes.
preparing for something very special. But the perfect prelude to delve back into our tech chat. We're talking about quite a revealing, as you'd expect it to be, survey done by Status, looking at our household connectivity. Now let's move into the rural areas. How connected or unconnected, disconnected are the rural areas in South Africa?
Unfortunately, the truthful answer is that connectivity in our rural areas in South Africa remains quite disappointing. Around 1.7% of areas typically are connected or have sufficient connectivity for people to be able to communicate or, in the best sense, run a business. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that what we do know is that there are, not only in South Africa, there are a variety of global companies now that are trying to tackle this problem. This extends far further than South Africa, given that there are regions around the world just by geography are difficult to connect to the internet. We've seen the likes of Google to Facebook intervene in this space. So hopefully the answer is within hand.
Is the idea of building better communities driving this, or is the idea of making more money by having bigger communities to tap into driving this. Where do you see that line?
That's definitely an aspect of it, and it's something we have to be very cognizant of. However, what we do know here in South Africa is that there's a very entrepreneurial space with regarding internet access, and we hope that at least there is a homegrown solution to these problems, not only in South Africa, but in other countries in the world where this issue is prevalent.
And tomorrow, Graham and I will be starting a crowdfunding site where we will gather millions of rands and just connect everyone for free.
Count me in.
No, we're not, but you thought about it, and that idea just blew your
And we're
mind.
not into
That was
Bitcoin
amazing.
either. And we're not into Bitcoin
no,
either.
not at all. But the fact that according to stats, 21% of people have a home computer, while 82% have a TV. Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on these stats? Are they necessarily too kind of juxtaposed industries?
Mutually exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily. If you consider in South Africa, I think something that we tend to gloss over or don't necessarily pay full respect to is the power of terrestrial television. And what I mean by that, for example, is that some consumers in South Africa might rely on a satellite provider to deliver their internet and channels. However, terrestrial television, as we know it, analog television, still remains a powerful force in South Africa.
Free to air, baby.
Absolutely. And it remains, naturally, one of the most connected to mediums in South Africa before that of the internet. And it seems that that's going to remain that way for a while.
Okay, all right, interesting stuff.
There's so many interesting, there's so many questions I'd like to know with how many people, I don't know if this has come out, connect to the internet via their TV. How close are we to going digital? Because we always talk about it and the disruption of the market and the fear of the big broadcasters. How much content are we consuming online as opposed to through conventional methods?
So in South Africa, it still remains quite conventional in the sense that, as I said before, terrestrial television is still a huge factor. However, that sort of number is swinging slowly as we start to transition to more digital systems. We have high-definition media increasingly becoming available, not just on TVs, but from a number of online services.
Yeah.
Sort of the biggest barrier, as we alluded to before, is ensuring that rural areas or the sparser regions of South Africa are as sufficiently connected as our big metros are. And that's sort of going to be the biggest challenge of the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Data.
Yeah.
Data's too expensive. Come on,
Big challenge to all big business out there. Let's get our people connected, give them access to information, access to opportunities to create and craft their own lives through technology. How about that?
You can literally save lives by giving people access to information, access to technology. It's not a challenge, it's an opportunity.
Get inside. Anyway, Brian Smith, thank you very much. We've just hit the half-an-hour mark. Time for a quick update of the latest news.
Thank you, Jen. So let's start with your national news. New Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, has instructed the rail safety regulator to speedily investigate the rail collision at the Eerste Fabrieke station in Mamelodi, Pretoria on Saturday. Paramedics treated 11 people for serious injuries and a further 39 more for minor injuries. And the South African Reserve Bank Governor, Lesetja Kganyago, has called on African countries to be smarter when borrowing money. He says debt is not a replacement for domestic revenue mobilization. We go across borders where the Zimbabwean Treasury's introduction of a 2% tax on all electronic transactions has yielded positive results beyond the government's expectations. For the first time in almost 6 years, Zimbabwe has a surplus on its budget. And a cruise ship crash in Venice has reignited calls for large vessels to be banned from the city's Gaiadeca Canal. 4 people were injured yesterday when a 275-meter-long ship collided with a dock and a small tourist boat after losing control. And finally, a simple act of lending 100 Rand to a customer in need has multiplied beyond petrol attendant Nkosiko Mbele's wildest dreams, as the customer's crowdfunding campaign has seen her raise almost 300,000 Rand and counting for him in return so far. 28-year-old Mbele from Kailicha on Thursday, from his own pocket, paid for Monet van Devenders petrol when she stopped at his station on the N2 near Makaza on her way to Cape Town, and then realized she had left her wallet at home. He told her that she couldn't risk running out of petrol on the N2 and could bring the money back whenever she was near there again. Monet says on her way back, she returned his blessing and asked him why he had helped a stranger. He replied, "Ma'am, I am a believer." And on that beautiful note, we leave your headlines. We'll expand on them at the top of the hour.
Quickly touching on those headlines, South Africa suffered another loss at the ICC Cricket World Cup. That's with Bangladesh claiming a 21-run victory over Faf du Plessis' team at the Oval last night. In football, on Saturday, Liverpool beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in the highly anticipated but somewhat disappointing in terms of its standard Champions League final to be crowned champions of Europe for a sixth time. Staying with football, a young Bafana side went down to Botswana in the COSAFA Cup. That ended in a penalty shootout after extra time at the Princess Makgokgo Stadium in KwaMashu yesterday afternoon. And in rugby, finally, Fiji not only claimed the Paris Sevens title, but were also crowned overall World Series champions. That for the fourth time in their careers after beating New Zealand in that final, while South Africa walked away with the bronze medal. But of course, do still have qualification for the next Olympic Games. And of course, the Cricket World Cup action continues later today as England, looking like the form favourites at the moment, they look to win their second encounter of the tournament when they take on an embattled Pakistan at 11:30.
Well, let's look at the petrol price. A quick update. The price of petrol is set to increase by 6 cents per litre, costing you around 16 Rand 70 cents a litre. And diesel is set to increase by 12 cents per litre, costing you around 15 Rand 11 cents per litre. And this is due to the introduction of the carbon tax. And looking at those roads, let's start off in Gauteng and Booysens, where on the M1 northbound, there's some congestion between the Uncle Charlie's interchange and the Crown interchange. The average traveling speed is only about 10 kilometers an hour, so expect delays of up to 30 minutes. Then moving to the Western Cape and Kuils River, there's a stationary vehicle on the R300 northbound. This is after Stellenbosch Arterials Road obstructing that emergency lane, so please keep a lookout for that. And if you're traveling by train, here's a quick update on the Central Line and the Cape Flats line. Now, a single line has been introduced between Cape Town and Salt River due to an overhead electrical problem. The Captain's Klip and Cape Flats trains are affected, so please allow for some extra travel time today. And that's where we leave your traffic for now.
And as we take a look at the latest weather update, let's say a big thank you to Gary Okamp, who sent us a beautiful sunrise picture from Kids Beach in East London, as we ask you to share those with us every morning. Thank you very much, Gary. Well, Gary, you can expect plenty of sunshine with a light northeasterly wind in your part of the country. Temperatures will be reaching a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius. So keep those pictures coming. We love to share them with everyone at the start of a new day. Now, let's take a look at those temperatures more specifically, starting off in Polokwane. Your minimum there of 5 and maximum of 23. Mbobela, sunny conditions can be expected there, and a minimum of 8 and a maximum of 25. Pretoria between 7 and 22, while Johannesburg can expect temperatures ranging between 6 and 20. Mahikeng in the Northwest Province, 6 and 25. And a cold start of the morning in Klerksdorp, temperatures ranging between 5 and 22. Kimberley in the Northern Cape, 7 and 23, while the lowest temperatures in the country can be found in the Free State in Bloemfontein between 2 and 21. Richards Bay, your temperatures range between 15 and 25. Pietermaritzburg, 8 and 23. Durban, sunny conditions to be expected there and temperatures ranging between 16 and 24, while high humidity can be expected in Mthatha and temperatures between 6 and 22. In East London, 13 to 22, Craddock, 7 to 24. A northeasterly wind of about 13 kilometers per hour can be expected in Port Elizabeth and temperatures over there ranging between 12 and 22. George, 11 and 24. A northwesterly wind of about 13 kilometers per hour in Sutherland with temperatures ranging between 7 and 19, while Cape Town can expect a low of 12 and a maximum of 21. In Worcester, 8 to 24 is your temperature range, while Springbok can expect a sunny day and temperatures over there ranging between 8 and 26, while the highest temperatures in the country can be found in Uppington, ranging between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius. But whatever the weather may look like in your part of the country, here's to hoping you have a marvelous Monday.
Time now to be inspired and learn how we can play our part as good citizens, not just here in South Africa, but globally. 16 years ago, when Karen Moss's son was born in South Africa with clubfoot, she ensured that she got him the best treatment she could find. Now, after her son's successful treatment by Dr. Ignacio Ponsetti, I hope I've pronounced that right, in the US, She then started Steps Clubfoot Care here in South Africa back in 2005 to promote the Ponseti method of clubfoot treatment. Today, the 3rd of June, is commemorated as World Clubfoot Day in honor of the great work done by the late Dr. Ponseti, who was born on this date. And we're joined now by Karen herself and orthopedic surgeon Dr. Marie Tiata, as well as Nompi Motisi, who has brought her unbelievably gorgeous Okwam with as well, who is a clubfoot patient. You can tell by what he is wearing this morning. Guys, welcome to it. It's always weird having to summate the journey that you are on collectively together as individuals and as an organization in 5 minutes. But we're going to try to do that today. Maybe, Dr. Tiata, I can start with you. How would you classify medically clubfoot? What is it?
So, clubfoot, or the scientific term, is congenital talipes equinovarus, and essentially what that
Just rolls
means.
off the tongue, yeah.
And essentially what that means is it's a deformity of the foot and ankle, where the foot is turned inwards and downwards, as you can see in this model. It's called congenital because it is from birth that you can notice it, and essentially the foot is rigid in this position. So that's what we call clubfoot. 80% of clubfoot is idiopathic, which means that it's a normal child with just the clubfoot, and 20% are associated with other abnormalities like a neurological disorder or a syndrome.
So it's one thing coming to terms with the diagnosis, but you immediately want to do something about it. Where does treatment begin? This is obviously something that you would know intimately, having to gone through it yourself within your own family, but now in a much broader,
Well, it's
broader
very important to get treatment as early as possible. The earlier, the better. You can start in the first week or two of life.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and babies start having their casts weekly, and they have a full leg cast bent at the knee, and it's taken off every week, replaced with another cast. And what the doctor's doing, or the nurse or the physiotherapist, is stretching that foot, manipulating it, and then casting it into a new position. And gradually, because of the actual kinematics of the foot, it pulls into a straight position, pushed outwards, and then they do a very minor treatment, which is done with local anesthetic to cut the Achilles tendon, which on an adult would be excruciating, but on a baby it regenerates longer, but within 3 weeks, and then they go into the next phase, which is boots and bar. And that's where the parents come in, because we're very much part of the treatment, and I'm a great advocate for supporting families, because people like Nompi are doing this every single night. And right now, Okwab is in his brace for 23 hours a day, and he'll wear that for 3 months, then he'll start to just wear it at night.
He's rocking his brace.
He's
rocking his brace this morning.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is an amazing thing. There is so much that you need to do here, and as much as it seems like a procedure, first of all, the human body is an amazing thing. That is just mind-blowing in itself. But this must have been quite an emotional journey, Normally, for you to go through as a parent. How did you feel when, obviously, the condition was identified, and before you could take these steps, and what steps meant for you in terms of that relationship?
All right, so I was fortunate enough because the doctors picked it up at my 20-week scan. So that gave me time to do my research, just to get my head around what is club feet. So I was able to do my research, and while I was on Google, I found that there is Steps organization website, which I went into. It helped me a great deal because on the website there are links that you can go into. You can also download PDF files on the website. So I managed to download Ponseti for Parents, which answered all the questions I had about club feet.
What difference has this started to make now? Because obviously this is step by step. It really is. Have you seen a change in Okwam? How do you feel about the process now?
Absolutely. It's been an amazing journey, and I would like to thank Karen and my family for the whole thing, because they've been with me since day one. So his feet were inward, so you can see now that they are straight. So it's quite a
He's
journey.
happy about it as well.
It is definitely quite a journey, which it's challenging, but with all the support and with the support, it's quite manageable.
He's just loving this. I've never seen a baby more TV ready in my life. Welcome,
He's fascinated by the
You're a
lights.
little legend. No, it's the content, okay? It's my voice. So, I think the most important thing here is to shed light, first of all. That's what the yellow is about, is to promote the awareness around this.
Yes.
Doctor, maybe I can start with you. What's the first step that a parent, what does a parent need to consider if they find themselves in this situation, and how do we start the process of engaging with steps or engaging with a process of healing?
So, as Karen mentioned, the earlier we start treatment, the better, because babies' feet in the first week or two of life are really soft and malleable, and the Prancetti treatment works the best then. So, first of all, parents need to take a nice deep breath and realize that we can treat this, and that these feet can be absolutely normal. This child will walk and run and play like a normal child. I would advise Googling, if you Google Clubfoot South Africa, you'll find two very good websites, so clubfoot.coza and steps.org.za, which gives you all the information to parents. It gets you in contact with the Steps charity, as well as the links, as Nompi has mentioned.
Nompi, I can see you are dealing with this in a fantastic way and being strong for your boy, which is what I'd expect from any mom.
Definitely.
As a mom who has been through this process, what advice do you have for someone who is just entering into this phase?
Well, I think I just remember telling quite a lot of parents that it'll be all right. And I think when you first have a child that's not normal, you know, inverted commas, and the child is, of course, completely, you know, a child, and you love that child, but you worry about their future, and are they going to, the dad's always, are they going to play soccer?
I mean, I've got a 2-year-old boy, so I can't help but mirror exactly what you're saying.
And you go through a lot of very, you know, obviously a lot of worrying times in the beginning, but once you've had that first Prancetti cast and you see how quickly the foot responds, and you see the other mums in the clinic, because the clinic's weekly, and you see people through all phases of treatment. We support about, I think it's almost 30 clinics around the country now, and trained over 600 medical professionals. So from one mum, that's all kind of grown, and I think every mum and dad have the strength to take their child through this journey, and the Clubfoot kids are incredible kids as well. So they're inspiring it to us.
Big things, Okwam. Expecting big things, little guy. You're an absolute champion. I'm going to say to every corporate out there, if you are a business leader listening to this right now, go and support Steps as an organization. Go and support this community. And if you're a parent entering into this phase of life, there is a community, there is a family waiting to connect with you. If you'd like to get any information about Clubfoot, we've been giving you some resources already, but you can visit globalclubfoot.com is one website. We'll put all of the other resources that we can find on our website as well. More information about Steps, Clubfoot Care, NPO, and how you can help. Then you can head on over to steps.org.za. There is a community waiting to support you. So we're going to see you. You can let that sink in for just a moment. I'm going to take a moment to enjoy the company of Okwam and his beautiful little gaze. Ladies, thank you so much. We'll see you after the break. Little legend. Hey.
Bon boy.
Bonvoy! Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Happy Monday to you, of course. The weekend was a big one, as of course the premium weekend in celebrating South African excellence in music, at least in that sense. The South African Music Awards, the SAMAs, rang in their 25th edition, and it was quite a spectacular event to be held over 2 days, Friday and Saturday, under the hashtag Recognize. And SAMAs 25 really pulled out all of the stops in commemorating this milestone anniversary. A quarter of a century of SAMAs. That's amazing.
Yeah, SAMA
Hashtag
25.
Recognize. So we'd like to recognize the greatness that went down. It was great because the SAMAs for the first time were hosted by 6 different presenters, and the main idea behind that was to mark all the decades that have passed since the SAMAs were launched. So Melanie Bala and Bob Mabena represented the 90s, Kuli Chana and Twasa Sioke represented the noughties, and then Pop Pops and Nomza Mombata brought it to the present. What a lineup of presenters.
And 25 years is a lot to celebrate. I mean, an incredible lineup. And then also the evening saw nostalgic performances from legends like Bongo Muffin, Trompies and Freshly Ground. And closed with an epic finale from industry heavyweights like Kelly Kumalo, Distraction Boys, DJ Tira, Moby Dixon and Shaw Majosi.
Yeah, and she was a highlight of the evening. The captain of the Limpopo Champions League. She's proved that she's really carved out a place for herself in the industry, and she stands shoulder to shoulder with the best of them, not just in the local scene, but also internationally as well. She's walked away on this specific evening with 2 of the night's biggest awards, which include Female Artist of the Year and Newcomer of the Year.
Well
Congratulations,
done.
Shaw Majosi. Asante Rijal, Huku Nambira. Huku Nambira. Kwamba wenu wendi. I'm still trying to learn the words of Huku, but I love that song.
Well, we also had him on the show not too long ago. So Java, he was here.
Yeah.
And of course, he's been killing it on the world stage.
Yeah.
I mean, being in, receiving international awards and of course, making acclaimed appearances. He scooped up the prestigious Album of the Year and of course, Best Afro Pop Album Award.
What an album indeed. Get it right now if you haven't listened to it yet. Now, also joining the Double Winners Club is worldwide sensational, phenomenal star, DJ Black Coffee, who picked up 2 gongs for Male Artist of the Year and Best Collaboration Award with David Guetta for their track Drive. Oh man, there's nothing like a road trip. Seaside on the left, mountain on the right.
With some Black Coffee.
So I'm trying to get those lyrics as well.
Amazing. And then joining, of course, walking away with the honors of the Record of the Year. And this category was awarded, was voted for by the public. Goes to the one and only Holly Ray.
Yeah,
Record
what a
of the
song,
Year.
right?
I mean, this one, it's an incredible jam.
Absolutely, great song. But also receiving Lifetime Achievement Award recognition for being industry icons. Movers and Shakers were quite a pioneers. TKZ, groundbreaking Afro-pop band Mango Groove, and the late, great proponent of Motswako hip-hop, Double HP, who of course received this honor posthumously. But man, what a night to celebrate South African music, eh?
Of course, what a celebration. And we will be bringing you more highlights as our field presented. Solo, he was there, he was on the red carpet. So we will be bringing you more highlights from the SAMAs 25.
All right, having a little bit of fun here talking about the SAMAs, but of course today, momentous day, we're kicking off a 13-week grooming journey with Bic Flex razors that promises to take you from shaving novice to grooming expert, something we all need, dudes. Now, shaving is a part of every dapper dude's routine, but one we very rarely discuss in public. To change that, okay, to shift that perception, I'm joined by Expresso fashion editor Nick Strelitz to chat about our personal journeys with grooming. Dude, you know why I'm so excited?
Why?
Because often we have to take quite a feminine, and we are very interested, and we've learnt a lot.
Yes.
Because often we go through the grooming journey with our ladies.
Right.
And now we have an opportunity, and I am a dude who needs to groom because I've got a beard, and we're on TV every day, so we know this. But it's important to actually talk about it. Why are we is there a stigma?
Why
don't we have a
stigma?
community?
South Africa. It is true that when you think about it, shaving, we hear our moms, we hear our grannies. Okay, maybe not our grannies anymore. Our aunts, everyone, they're completely obsessed and talking top tips and tricks and hacks and stuff. And I've always sat there thought, where are the men in this
We have to wait
conversation?
for November before we start talking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have 30 days, and then that's it. There is sort of this taboo associated with speaking about men's grooming, shaving in particular. So we are missing sort of this broader sense of community, I think.
Yeah.
But also, passing down this sort of generation by generation leaves us some question marks, because I also don't know for myself the proper sort of A to Z steps. And we're taught sort of by our dads or our granddads, but what do they know? Do they know
the thing
anything?
Is, the funny thing is, even you say that, but I've been lucky enough to learn working with great barbers and things like that. But that's purely, I've kept my granddad's shaving brush and his old school razor.
Yeah.
He never had the opportunity, and he was the only kind of solitary male figure in my life. I wasn't old enough when he passed for him to be able to, but that was such a strong connection for me to the kind of man that he was.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing here. Your shaving routine, how you shave, that's part of passing on that generational knowledge as well. So that is awesome.
And that is important, and I don't want to discredit that, but certainly in the last 20, 30 years, technology...
We have resources, look at us!
But technology has advanced dramatically as well. So those top tips that granddads passed on might not actually apply anymore. So that's why I'm so happy again
so much now.
With BIC that we're actually having these open dialogues. We're going to create some new experiences and new narratives for the men out there.
How did you first start shaving?
Oh, Graham. Oh, Graham. Okay, listen up.
Did you start early? Were you like...
What are you saying? That I'm a hairy Jew?
Just a really masculine guy,
Well,
man.
listen, I am Jewish. I'm saying it loud and proud today. This is my coming out party, and we Jews are a bit of a hairier race. I can say it openly and honestly.
Yeah, man.
So I actually started growing facial hair quite early on. I was about 3 months. And my mom sent me back to the doctor and said, "What is wrong with my child? Doctor, take him away." Okay, no, it wasn't 3 months.
And you're like,
No, my voice always stayed really high, and then I had my bar mitzvah, and it dropped. But for me, it always was something that was on my mind. But like you, I didn't have sort of a father figure, parent type to actually go through the routine. So I'm completely self-taught. But that's a lot of red flags as me later in life, because sometimes it's patchy, sometimes I'm not getting the beautiful smoothness out of it.
It's
and
a
I've
lot
been
of
too afraid to ask
misinformation,
people.
yeah.
Exactly. And you, Mr. Richards?
I went to a boarding school where there was always like that one guy who was like years ahead of everyone else who started shaving, and the rest of it like, come on, and then you'd like shave your bare face just to try and be cool and hope that something would come through. But I had to basically learn. My mom and I had to learn together
to do it,
and that was the thing. We kind of muddled our way through it, and it's you're basically relying on advice from mates and as I say, misinformation. So it's so nice now to have access to so much, even on an entry-level basis.
Yes.
There is so much.
Very much. And these are disposable as well, which we're going to get into later in the campaign, but certainly there's lots to go through and talk about.
I mean, I've got about 1 million questions, and a lot of it relating to my own beard here. But can you start maybe with one piece of advice?
Yeah.
To start this journey, to engage the community.
I'm engaging, we're engaging. I don't want to give too much away, but this is the types of tidbits we're actually going to explore more thoroughly. But things like shaving cuts, and we all get them, right? No matter how meticulous you are,
You've
generally...
all got that space with the grain changes. And,
Yes, and people, again, Graham, have a misconception that the sharper the razor, the more likely you are to cut yourself. No, it's the opposite. A duller blade is more likely to get caught on a piece of hair, and that's what actually creates that pull off the root, and you start to bleed. But things like General House ointments, things like petroleum jelly, antiperspirant can be used to treat a small, shallow cut. Rather than the old toilet paper on and out, that is not a cute look.
And the pain is real.
Yeah.
Dude, I love this. I've got tons and tons of questions to ask. A lot about the full beard.
Yes.
I've been thinking about it at the moment. And we've obviously seen a big influence because of it's hip at the moment. There's culture, Game of Thrones.
It's Game of Thrones.
I mean,
the
there we
beard
go.
is. Oh, who is that? Oh, Kit Harington. We love Kit.
Look at that. Would he look the same without a beard? Because he took a lot of flack.
I wouldn't talk to him.
He took a lot of flack without the beard.
Him.
Do we have a picture of him without his beard? We don't.
That's coming up. But certainly the big beard, the big trend in the moment is a fuller beard. But where there comes a fuller beard, there comes much more. You really need a thorough and comprehensive guide, exactly in terms of upkeep. Things like beard oil, comb. It's really comprehensive.
Dude, I love the fact that we have started this journey. I've already learned a huge amount, and I think we are gonna be learning a lot. But I would suggest you engage with us if you've got any conundrums. And I had like a 20-minute conversation with a dude about our beards at a barber's the other day. Just two guys talking about beards, and that's what this is about. Tune in this coming Thursday when we're going to get down to shaving specifics, leveling the grooming playing field with an easy guide to the do's and don'ts of shaving, looking at the best Big Flex products to help you master your look, and we've got a ton of them. Purchase your Big Flex razor today at leading local retailers. Really inexpensive, entry level as well, and some really advanced tech there. You can visit za.bigworld.com for more information on this extensive range. Nice one, dude.
Thank you.
Dude, you see how manly I got
know,
there?
like tomorrow.
Master your look with Big Flex.
All right, very shortly after the break, we'll be taking a look at some of our favorites on the red carpet at Summer 25 that took place this past weekend. But we were asked to also reflect on some of our favorite winners. Who was your top winner?
Well, I'm really happy Holly Ray walked away with that record of the year. I mean, you hear it on all the radio stations.
Yeah,
it's been
that
getting a
song.
lot of play, and it's great to get that industry recognition. So
And
well done.
Record of the Year is a big one as well. Hey, I'm
And it's voted for by the public.
Absolutely. And I said earlier on, I'm a big fan of Sujava and Shoma Josie as the captain of the Limpopo Champions League. But I've got to say, though sad it is to have had him recognized on this level now, posthumously, Double HP, because I remember like just how much his music meant to me growing up and listening to tracks like Bobo Konebu Pirima, and I was like, yeah, you know, I really, really enjoyed his music so much. And the one or two times I was able to meet him, and we had him on the show as well. This is such a well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award, and I hope that his family, his friends, his colleagues that walk the journey with him really take pride in that award. But congratulations as well to every single one who walked away with a South African Music Award this past weekend. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll keep filling your cup full of that
Feel good.
Cadbury Dairy Milk shines the light on the generosity that lives inside each and every one of us. So we encourage all South Africans to bring your old toys to any of their pop-up little generosity shops and receive a slab of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate on us. Get to those shopping centres on these dates, May through August, and let's inspire a little more Cadbury goodness in the world.
True as it can be. Barely even friends. Then somebody met unexpectedly. Just a little change. Small to say the least. Both a little scared. Neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Monday morning, the start of a brand new week, and thank you so much for choosing to start it off with us. We've just hit the top of the hour. Let's take a look at the morning's headlines.
Thank you, Kat. And here's a final look, starting with national news. New Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, has instructed the rail safety regulator to speedily investigate the rail collision at the Eerste Fabrieke station in Mamelodi, Pretoria on Saturday. Paramedics treated 11 people for serious injuries and a further 39 for minor injuries. And the South African Reserve Bank Governor, Lesatjie Kganyago, has called on African countries to be smarter when borrowing money. He says debt is not a replacement for domestic revenue mobilization. We move across borders, where the Zimbabwean Treasury's introduction of a 2% tax on all electronic transactions has yielded positive results beyond the government's expectations. For the first time in almost 6 years, Zimbabwe has a surplus on its budget. And a cruise ship crash in Venice has reignited calls for large vessels to be banned from the city's Gaia Deca Canal 4 people were injured yesterday when a 275-meter-long ship collided with a dock and a small tourist boat after losing control. And finally, vets sure walked the extra mile in being kind to extraordinary patients during this past week. First, there was the adorable story of an Amanzimtoti vet, Dr. Tammy McNair, from the Seadoon Veterinary Clinic, who fixed 4-year-old Lamika LaRue's sick puppy Marshall. Now, Lamika thought Marshall, who's actually a stuffed toy, needed to see a vet, and Dr. Tammy stepped in. And way over yonder in Washington, USA, another vet did a groundbreaking beak repair surgery on a Great Dane's favorite toy. Justice, the Great Dane, loves her rooster toy but accidentally chewed its beak off. They rushed the toy into emergency surgery and even let Justice scrub in as an assistant. Justice observed closely as the vet at Companion Animal Hospital stitched the rooster back together. And on that note, we leave your headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport.
Yes, thankfully the last time we'll have to go through these results. Let's kick it off with cricket. South Africa suffered another loss at the ICC Cricket World Cup. That with Bangladesh claiming a pretty hard-fought 21-run victory over Faf du Plessis' team at the Oval last night. In football on Saturday, massive one for Liverpool. They beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in the highly anticipated, if not somewhat disappointing in terms of its standard, Champions League final. They were crowned champions of Europe for a 6th time. Staying with the beautiful game, a young Bafana side went down to Botswana in the Kasafa Cup. A penalty shootout after extra time was at the Princess Makgoka Stadium in KwaMashu yesterday afternoon. And in rugby, finally, Fiji not only claimed the Paris Sevens title, but were crowned overall World Series champions for the 4th time. That was after beating New Zealand in the final. South Africa, they walked away with the bronze medal and, of course, that qualification to the next Olympic Games. Then throwing forward, Cricket World Cup action continues today as hosts England, now looking like the form favourites. They'll look to win their 2nd match of the tournament while they take on Pakistan, needing to bounce back after a devastating loss to the West Indies, and that game kicks off at 11:30.
Well, here's a final look at your traffic and also a reminder about the petrol price that is set to increase by 6 cents a litre, costing you 16 Rand 70 cents per litre, and diesel is set to increase by 12 cents per litre, costing you around 15 Rand 11 cents per litre. This is due to the introduction of the carbon tax. We now look at your roads one last time in Gauteng Witbank Highway. Now, on the N4 westbound, there's been an accident. It's before the Proefplaas interchange, and that left lane's obstructed and heavy delays can be expected, so do please approach with caution. We move over to the Western Cape in Khayelitsha, where we have a stationary vehicle on the N2 outbound. It's before Muway, obstructing that emergency lane, so please be on the lookout for that. And if you're traveling by train, a Metro Rail update on the Southern Line, that there's extended travel time of about 30 to 40 minutes on the Southern Line, and this is due to defective track circuits at Salt River and faulty level crossing booms at Kenilworth. So allow for some extra travel time today. And that's where we leave your traffic.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Well, as we take a look at your last weather update this morning, we want to say a big thank you to all of you who've sent in those beautiful sunrises, including Jakes Dupree, who sent us a beautiful skyline from Durban, as well as Leon Venter for your spectacular sunrise picture from Sea Park in KZN, and lastly to Gary Oakamp for a fantastic sunrise picture from Kids Beach all the way in East London. Please do keep them coming. We love sharing them with everyone at the start of a brand new day. But let's take a look at those temperatures, shall we? More specifically, Polokwane, you can expect a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 23. In Mbombela, your temperatures will range between 8 and 25. In Gauteng, Pretoria, 7 and 22. Johannesburg, 6 and 20. Let's move on over to the Northwest Province. Mahikeng can experience temperatures between 6 and 25. A cold start can be expected in the morning in Klerksdorp. Temperatures there ranging between 5 and 22. In the Northern Cape, Kimberley, 7 and 23, while the lowest temperatures in the country will be in the Free State in Bloemfontein, ranging between 2 and 21 degrees Celsius. Richards Bay, 15 and 25. Pietermaritzburg, 8 and 23. In the KZN, Durban, your temperatures will range between 16 and 24. High humidity can be expected in Mthatha, and temperatures there 6 and 22. In the Eastern Cape, East London, 13 and 22. Cradock,
7 and 24. In Port Elizabeth, the windy city, northeasterly winds of about 13 kilometers per hour can be expected today, and temperatures ranging between 12 and 22. George, 11 and 24. A northwesterly wind of about 13 kilometers per hour can be expected in Sutherland, with temperatures there ranging between 7 and 19 degrees Celsius. Cape Town, 12 and 21. Worcester, 8 to 24. Springbok, 8 to 26, and the highest temperatures in the country can be expected in Uppington, ranging between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius. But of course, no matter what the temperatures are in your part of the country, here's to hoping you have a magnificent Monday, especially if you're celebrating your birthday, which we're about to do right now again.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Well, it is the 3rd of June, and it's time for us to take a look at some more birthdays. A very popular date. Of course, our very own Anne Williams also celebrating her birthday today. But it's now time for us to wish you a happy birthday.
Because she's on a cruise, we're cancelling our birthday celebrations for her.
We have a WhatsApp line in case you don't have that number yet. It's 071-640-6551. And at least it is send us those birthday videos, requests at least 24 hours before. So if your birthday's on Wednesday, send it now.
Don't send it on the same day, because then it'll be too late and it'll be belated, is what we'll say. Okay, so I'm digging this. I'm loving the fact that you're all sending videos in. If you're struggling to get into the birthday vibe today, maybe Olive can help you out. He celebrated his 30th birthday on Saturday. So Charlotte, Sean, Survive, and your sisters say they hope this is the beginning of another beautiful year for you. Here is a video of Olive getting in that birthday vibe. I know, the outfit. And those names, all of them. Charlotte, yeah.
It's a real jam.
That's a party I want to go to, man.
Jam.
That's a party I want to go to. Olive, happy belated birthday. 30th is a big one, man. Awesome.
Happy birthday. Moving on to Garrodine, who celebrated his birthday on Saturday, and his girlfriend Megan wishes him a very happy birthday. So Garrodine, happy birthday to you. And Phoebe, who is turning 8, and her mom and Auntie Jamie want to wish her the happiest little birthday. Happy birthday,
Beautiful
Phoebe.
pick, man. I love that. Then it was also Casey's birthday over the weekend, and her dad says he loves you so much. Casey, no one loves you more in this world. Then Miche Janssen also turned 14 on Saturday. Miche and Joy, that's a big year, such an important, empowering year for a young person. Love that.
And then Brady would like to wish his sister Tara Govender a happy birthday for today. May God grant you many blessings always. And then Ryan is turning 5, and his family says he is their little star and he must keep shining. So happy birthday, Ryan.
You're getting stuck in there. Love it. Then Seth Hendricks is turning 8 today, and his pa Madhavan Williams and ma Norma Williams wish him a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Seth. And then Jason Reuters is turning 11, and his family wish him a very happy birthday as well. In case you wanted to know, that's Jason.
There we go. And then Ronnie Moses celebrated his 76th birthday on Sunday, and his children and grandchildren wish him many more happy and healthy years ahead. So Ronnie, from all of us here at Expresso, happy birthday. And Keisha is turning 15 today. Her mom and dad, they would just like her to know that they love her so much, and they are so proud to have her as their daughter. So happy birthday.
Let's squeeze in one more. We'd like to wish our queen, Charmaine Deister, a happy 60th birthday. And that's from her 2 daughters, 3 grandchildren, and husband. She is a massive Expresso fan and watches the show every morning. She engages a lot with us. So, Charmaine, from our family to your family, and you are kind of part of our family because we start our day every day together. We love you. Happy birthday. Please continue to send those messages. Your support means a huge amount to us. So hopefully we can share some of our love with you this morning. But to everyone, including Jaden, sorry I called you Jason. Jaden, happy birthday, guys. Hope you are feeling so special and so loved today. People care about you enough to put you on national TV.
That's right. We'll get those birthday requests through. You can email them to birthdays@cordova.tv, or you can send us a WhatsApp those videos to 071-640-6551. And please make sure you get them in 24 hours before.
Yeah, man. And here's a kiss from me. Another one.
Time for some music on your Monday morning, and we've got the beautiful and talented Karen Kork here, who's brought along some very talented friends along with her, including Envik Boyson, one of the past winners of the Overberg's Got Talent competition, and they're about to entertain you, serenade you into the start of a brand new week with their rendition of Beauty and the Beast.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends, that somebody bends unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast, ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Oh, ever just the same, yeah, and never a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Oh, 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 certain as the sun, small to say the least, but the little chance, neither one pretend, yeah. Certain as the sun, small to say the least, but the little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast. Oh, beauty and the
What an incredible performance, Karen Korkie and Cabello Lombard. Of course, do check out their event the 9th of June. All of those details is available online. Dr. Eve, doesn't that just make you love watching movies like Beauty and the Beast?
Very romantic.
Oh, very romantic. Well, you are joining us today as we are talking relationships. Princess have already sorted you out. You have your hot
thank
water,
you.
right?
I have my hot water. Thanks,
Is
Princess.
that a little routine that you always do?
I only drink hot water. Well, I kind of break bad and have an iced coffee once a week.
Okay, well,
a little bit
Princess-
of caffeine.
Can I have a coffee, please, as we get ready for our relationship chat with Dr. Eve? That's coming up after the break.
Okay.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is a Monday morning, and we thank you very much for joining us at the start of a brand new week. Now, this past Saturday saw the celebrations for Pride Month kick off, as June is globally regarded as the month where the LGBTQI+ community celebrates the strides made by its members. And there's no denying, though, that even as far advanced and visible as gay rights are, there are still a myriad of issues faced by the community and a direct effect of marginalization by society at large, of course.
So today we are asking you, what are the issues that the gay community grapples with? Dr. Eve, she's in the building with us to help us discuss this very important topic, and we'd love to hear from your questions and your comments as well. So why don't you head on over to our Expresso Facebook page, drop a comment on our post, and we will engage with you live on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is a complicated topic, so parental guidance is advised.
Yeah, as always, Dr. Eve, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is something, of course, that I think is just very, very closely to your heart as, I think, an observer of human rights in general.
That's true. I'm here in two capacities, I guess, Kat, as an activist, a human rights defender, and as a clinician who works with the pain, the difficulty of people who are transitioning and people who are coming out, and also the joy of people who successfully are embracing all of the rights that are afforded to them in our country. And just to put a caveat to that, 38 African countries still criminalize any kind of LGBTIQA+ rights. Maybe we should unpack what that acronym is.
Can we do that? Yes,
because I think it's complicated. Huh?
It's a kind of word that's thrown around.
Exactly.
And people don't necessarily know exactly what it means. So go ahead, please.
So L is for lesbian, G is for gay, and B is bisexual. LGBT is transgender, which I never know why it's really there, but it is. Q is for queer, A is for asexual, and then people keep adding on whatever they want, and intersex as well, which is also thrown in. So anybody who is gender diverse and sexual orientation fluidity, who is non-conforming to societal norms, which is your heteronormative model, your mono-heteronormative model, those people would then put themselves into the LGBTIQA bracket and say, I'm non-conforming. And the joy of it is that more and more people are joining that marginalized group. And with time, let's hope that the 43% of people, young people who recently said in a survey, and I think we spoke about it last week, that they are non-binary, that they don't conform to I'm either male or female. That's going to keep increasing. So we will have more tolerance and more respect of our differences, which is really an important thing that we have to do and therefore celebrate. But there remain really big issues, Kat and Zoe, big issues that people who are in LGBTIQA grouping still face. And we're kind of going to be focusing today not on the teenagers, because we do a lot of that. You know, we do talk about high suicide rates, high depression rates, high rates of alcohol, high rates of any kind of mental illness that happens with people in that age group. But we're going to be focusing on people who are actually practicing being sexual, men who have sex with men, and look at the changes that have happened in that world.
Dr. Eve, wow, amazing. We're going to be unpacking this topic throughout our relationship discussion on this Monday morning. And one of the big questions we're asking is, what are the issues that the gay community grapples with? And we'd love to hear your questions. We'd love to have your comments. And of course, we'll be engaging with our relationship expert, Dr. Eve. So head on over to our Facebook page, drop a comment on the post, and we'll be engaging with you very shortly.
So we're going to have a little bit of fun. As soon as Chef Tash is finished Instagramming, this is a very Insta-worthy little table layout. It looks amazing, and you use the word spread. Tash, we love you. You look gorgeous. You always just raise the level, which is just... You are one of the most beautiful things, and you are creating one of the most beautiful things, because we are using our sandwich spread, our Be Well sandwich spread, which is like a retro classic comeback in a big way.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely love it. But we are bringing the cheesy sub back with a brand new attack. A cheesy sub is awesome because it can be a whole meal, it can be a sneaky snack, it can be a midnight snack. It's delicious. It's also a cool way of using up leftovers, that last little bit of cheese. You can get creative. So we're going to give you the basis, the launching pad for the ultimate cheesy sub, and then what you want to do to it after that, it's up to you, or what's left in your fridge, maybe.
Definitely.
And of course, the key word here, if you'd like to cook along with us or create along with us, is Be Well to 33728. Okay, so the end result's looking amazing. I think these little cherry tomatoes on the vine, very, very clever.
Yes.
Where do we start?
We start with a bowl with salt and
With a bowl,
pepper.
like every
Yes.
great kitchen story. Mm.
Definitely. So we've got the Be Well sandwich spread, which is very nice. It doesn't have egg in it. It's got vegetable oil. So it is quite clever like that. So we are just going to pour that in our bowl. We've got lemon, which is going to add to the zestiness. We've got garlic. We've got oregano. You can use any type of herb that you want. And then we've got mustard, which is going to give it a nice richness there.
There is balance, there's creaminess, but like you say, there's a tart kind of zing there. And that's what I love about the sandwich spread, is it's got that lovely kind of sourness to it that will kind of raise the flavor profile of other things as well. So it's not just something great to have on its own, but it's a great accompaniment.
We have a French bread there that we are going to top with this nice mixture. As you said earlier, it's a nice vehicle for anything and everything that you have. So we are going to use cheese today, which is we've got cheddar and as well as we've got Parmesan. But you can add on meat if you want. You can add on leftover veggies. Just top them with cheese. Yes.
I love it. And what I like about the Be Well sandwich spread is it's like jam-packed with flavorings and like little, the beautiful little additives that we love in a sandwich spread. So you kind of get your money's worth there. But for me, a sub kind of has to be on baguette. Surely I wouldn't do this on another bread. It's got to be on a nice baguette.
You can actually use other breads, but it has to be a very nice, nice, fluffy, long bread.
No, it has to be long. That's the key thing, Alice, because once you've had your first little section, you will definitely go back for more.
Definitely.
Or chances are someone's going to force you to share it with them. Okay, so we've got a beautiful cheesy mixture, and this is quite a nice cheese filling, I think, for a lot of other things as well.
It's a very nice base spread. So you can top it with chicken, you can top it with veggies. I actually thinking you can even top it with some asparagus. So I'm
loving just smelling it, what the mustard does to bring out the flavors, the pop of the other flavors in this mixture. It's amazing.
Definitely. Even the garlic is coming through, and the lemon. It's a nice mix of flavors. Sorry about that.
Do you have to just take a moment there just to consider how awesome the cheese filling is? I would make a lot of cheese filling.
Definitely.
You know, you want it to ooze, you want it to have kind of that crispy texture on the outside, but still to have like a bit of juiciness and then squeeginess in the middle, yeah?
Definitely. What you do is whenever you're going to make bread, don't preheat your oven to the normal 180 degrees. Always preheat your oven to a very high notch, like this one. We are going to need to preheat our oven to 200 degrees because bread cooks very quickly, and you don't want bread that is very dry on the inside. So you want that browning to happen very, very quickly.
All right, but still keep a bit of the kind of moisture on the inside of it, and then you finish it off with some
Parmesan.
Nice.
And then, as you can see there, we're serving it with tomatoes on the vine. You can serve this with other cheeses as well. But the beautiful thing about this spread, you can still top it. You can stop your toast.
Nice little dipping sauce, yeah.
Yes, you can use it as a dipping sauce. You can use the tomatoes on the vine in your spread actually, it's a very good spread because it's got that vegetable base, and it's also endorsed by cancer.
Oh man, I absolutely love this. So it packs a health punch as well, but I'm thinking like introduce some cold meats. It's going to be absolutely amazing. This is hopefully a launching pad that has inspired you to think about the sub in a whole new way, or just to go and have a sub, create your own sub this morning. The key word here is Be Well to 73728. If you want to create a sub on your very own, we'll SMS that to 73728 and we'll send you an ingredients list. I'm going to have a little taste, if that's okay, because it just looks amazing. We're going to go for a nice crunchy piece.
And it smells even more amazing.
Excellent. One of that, and...
How is that?
We are back here with Dr. Eve in the house. We are talking relationships, and June is Pride Month. It's kicked off earlier on the 1st of June, of course. And Dr. Eve is here with us this morning. We are unpacking this topic, and of course, it is of a sensitive nature. So if your kids are around, we do ask for parents' guidance. And of course, if you have a comment or a question you'd love to ask us, you can head on over to our Expresso Facebook page. Dr. Eve, you mentioned something very interesting with regards to, is it biomedical technologies? Despite all of that, there's still an increase in HIV rates.
Right. I mean, you think about we celebrate Gay Pride Month because in 1969 there was a raid and there was a riot in Stonewall in Greenwich Village in Manhattan, where the police came in and gay men were gathering and just having a good time, and the police came in and said, you know, it's illegal, break it down, and they rioted. And since 1970 they rioted, and since that time, Gay Pride Month has been established, where gay people said, actually it is our right to gather, to live, to just be treated as everybody else is being treated.
Yeah.
So if you look back at how there has been so much advancement, you were talking about rights just now, Kat, but also biomedical technology, which has completely changed the face of men with men, gay men, men having sex with men, because since the advent of HIV/AIDS, right, there has been the discovery of ARVs, which has been life-changing, because it certainly doesn't cure HIV, but it certainly will treat and manage the disease. So there's been a change in sexuality since that time. And one would imagine that the HIV rates would come down because of that. You know, men on ARVs, there's such an awareness. You know, we talk about condoms all the time, using protection, safer sex, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
So there's new research that's been coming forward and saying, well, why is there such a high incidence in HIV still, specifically in men who have sex with men? And they found other factors that have really influenced it, which I find, you know, completely fascinating.
Yeah.
Factors such as loneliness, depression, social anxiety, compulsive acting out sexual behavior, sexual awkwardness, negotiation around condoms. And because people who are LGBTIQA are still so marginalized, the ability to talk about it, to come out, is so fraught with distress that it shows in their own social behavior, their mental and emotional behavior, and in their sexual behavior. And so the incidence of HIV is still really, really high. So you're probably aware of something called PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylactics. Again, another incredible biomedical technology, which if you take it, even if you're not infected with HIV, you take it, and you're then assured of not being infected if you're sexual with somebody who is infected. So if I have a partner who's HIV infected, who I know is HIV infected, I can take PrEP, even though I'm not infected, and I know that I can safely not be infected with my partner. But I still have to use a condom.
I was about to ask the question about where does the self-preservation aspect of it come in? And I understand maybe from the point of view where you're saying, because society treats the community in a certain way, there's a certain acting out of the extreme behaviors that are seen as taboo by the community in order to, you know, for that shock factor. But where does, from a psychological point of view, where does that self-preservation end? And you go, well, I'd rather than engage in irresponsible sexual behavior
Well, if you're
in order to
feeling
make myself heard or make myself seen.
Well, if you're feeling depressed, Kat, and if you know that you've got an enormous amount of social anxiety and you're still not accepted, and in the workplace or at school, there is still such marginalization that happens. You're still going to get beaten up, especially if you're a woman, right? We know that there's so much, there has been in the past, especially in our country, so much death around lesbian women who are suspected of being lesbian or have come out as lesbian, that there is still a fear, there is still a closeting that happens. And so it's like a risk factor that creeps in. Like, okay, so what? You know, I'm going to get infected. I'm going to be marginalized. I may as well take a whole lot of drugs as well to be able to get me through the sexual experience. And there isn't enough self-value and self-care that can happen. Now, I'm talking about a group of people. Obviously, we know that we have lots and lots of our viewers who really are responsible and who do practice safer sex and who do know about condoms. So I'm talking about a group of people who are at risk. And those are the group of people that we're talking to today to say, you really want to practice safer sex. You still want to be using condoms, even though there's PrEP available.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break while we digest all that Dr. Eve has had to say. She'll have more to share with us after the break as we engage in this very important subject matter. And I think I want to ask when we come back about what we as a community at large can then do to better understand the issues that trouble the LGBTQI+ community, and, you know, so that we can move forward in this context. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Monday morning and we're right in the thick of things. We're talking relationships with Dr. Eve with a specific focus on the LGBTQI plus community, the challenges that face them, especially in the month of June, which is Pride Celebration Month all around the world. Let's quickly take in what you said on social media.
That's right. We're heading over to our Twitter poll that Dr. Eve has placed online. And the question we're asking is, do you think the LGBTQI plus people continue to suffer, or do you think they are fully accepted? We are asking you, we had 22% says accepted, 57, which is the majority, say suffer, and 21% is unsure.
I find this really pleasing.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pleased that people are so aware, Kat, that there is still suffering that happens. And I also like the humility of people who are saying, actually, I'm unsure, I don't really know how to do this.
Yeah.
I don't really know what is going on in the LGBTIQA community right now. So I'm really pleased about this, and I'm pleased around the suffering. So I think that kind of answers your question about what can we do as a community to be able to minimize the suffering that we're aware of, right? Yeah. We're aware of it, but what do we do about it? Mm-hmm. So it's about, I mean, simplistically, in the workplace, I don't even, we can't even, it's not even about having policies, because we have a constitution. We have a Bill of Rights that clearly says you cannot discriminate against anyone based on part of that, sexual orientation and gender. So we cannot do that legally, but we're not accepting, we're not tolerant of people's differences. We're afraid and we're ignorant. So it's about developing an understanding that we are people, and we don't have to look for religious reasons or biological reasons or medical reasons why we're different, why we may fit or self-identify in the LGBTIQA category. We don't have to look for reasons for it. It's about accepting that we are different, and that's normative. That's who we all are as people. So whether it's in a business environment, a corporate environment, we should be able to have policies of tolerance and respect. In schools, it is so, so important that that is part of sexuality education. We spoke about that last week a little. So important to recognize in school, when young people are coming out, that there is diversity, that there is fluidity. No longer is there the binary male-female. There is a non-binary, and schools have to be adaptive towards that, so that there isn't the ongoing bullying, verbal abuse, marginalization that happens to school kids. Why do they keep quiet? Because if they say something, they are outed. So if you're going to say to somebody, oh, you're a muffy, or look at you, you're a sissy, or you dress like a boy, or you're such a tomboy, kids can't go and complain, because then it'll be, well, actually, yeah, I don't think I am this heterosexual person.
Yeah.
And so they keep quiet, and it has terrible, terrible consequences to them.
Sure. All right, so we take a look at some of the social comments. On Facebook, we did have a topic as well where we asked about this, kind of the same sort of line of questioning there for people to tell us about today, about their thoughts on the challenges that are faced by the LGBTQI.
I want to go to Hiram's
go ahead.
Question. He asked how much abuse we accept from our families, friends, because we feel grateful that they tolerate us. The world is so horrible to us that we accept the bare minimum from our families, friends, and call it love.
I'm so excited about that, because I've just read a research article. Thank you, Hiram, for that comment. I just read a research article about how there is almost microaggression or micro-stigmatization, micro-marginalization, where we think as families we're accepting our children who may be gender diverse or may be different in terms of sexual orientation, but we make comments all the time. So for example, if your child is coming out or is leaning towards being gender diverse or non-conforming, you will then say to them, no, if you're a boy, you can't wear that dress to school because everyone's going to mock you. Or I'm not going to change the pronoun. I'm not going to call you she anymore. I'm not going to call you Kathy, because people are going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
And that is so wrong. So I'm going to stay with a little bit with pronouns for families who are listening. If your child says to you, please don't call me he or she, call me they, please listen and respect that.
Yeah.
If your child is coming out and saying, actually, I think I'm a boy, but I actually have the characteristics of a female, and I want to be called not Zoe, but I want to be called Zach, please respect that and say he. Just start out with that, because others it is really micro-marginalization.
Question, from a family perspective and
Yes.
trying to protect your children, say that your child wants to start expressing their gender
Yes.
diversity
Yes.
And they are of school-going age. How
Yes.
do you protect them? Because maybe the one hand says, I don't want you to be mocked by kids and to be bullied all
Exactly.
day, so wear the normal
them.
uniform. But thus also allowing them to be who they are.
Yeah. So this is part of what the research is beautiful that you bring it up, Kat, is that this is another justification that parents have for their own struggle and accepting that their child is different. They say, I want to protect you. What are you protecting you against? Because if you're going to go...
world.
Yeah. But, you know, we want to change the world. Isn't that what we're here
This is
for?
true.
We want to change the world and not make it feel like it's unsafe.
Yeah.
So we go into the world and we say to the school, actually, our child is going to wear a dress. He looks like a boy, but actually he's taken on the persona of a woman, and you're going to accept it, and we're going to bring in gender dynamics to be able to give you a great workshop and to teach the children about tolerance. So not that our child has to change, but the world has to change. Going into a corporate environment and saying, actually, I'm going to be coming to work in suits now because I am embracing the fact that I am gender diverse and I'm identifying as a male right now. The workplace has to change. The country has to change. We have to change. Not the child. We're not protecting the child. We're protecting ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't
Think
that
on
fabulous?
that
Yeah.
a little bit on this Monday morning.
that.
Dr. Eve has opened up a whole different portal of discussion, and we appreciate that very, very much. Always so
Right.
insightful to have you here. And of course, you can keep on engaging with her further on social media. But I think that's all the time we have for this week's relationship talk. And of course, we'll be doing it again next week. And until then, thanks, babe. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's time for a little bit of feel good. So good.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a beautiful, motivational, somewhat heartbreaking Monday morning. So we're going to turn the tide a little bit. Great discussion. And just the reaction online shows how polarized people are. But just, I'm going to put it out there. Just be careful what you say in the world, especially online, because it's there now. You put it out to the world. So just watch what you're saying. But great discussion. Thank you so much, guys. So let's put another positive spin. I don't think I've gotten over the sport yet. I'm not there yet.
It's too
so make me feel better. Make me feel good.
Well, the first fact that launches the story might not make you feel great. The fact that
come on,
it's
dude.
been revealed by WWF, or the Worldwide Fund for Nature, that South Africans use between 30 and 50 kilograms of plastic per year. Okay?
Per person. That's a lot.
Per person?
Per person.
Per person.
Per year. If you imagine how light a plastic bag is, now put together 50 kilograms of that. That is a
multiply
lot.
that by how many million is our country at the moment?
50 something. Yeah, thereabouts. But anyway, so
staggering,
okay,
yeah.
there might be light at the end of the tunnel
great. That
because
made me
something
feel
that's happening in Vietnam
Well, that's
might
right.
be helping.
That a supermarket in Vietnam, they've adapted this initiative where from Thailand, that they make use of banana leaves instead of plastic as packaging, and this is as as an alternative nationwide instead of using plastic. So aside from wrapping vegetables and fruits, the grocery chain also intends on using the leaves for fresh meat products.
Which is absolutely amazing. And as you can imagine, this has resulted in a lot of excitement in the industry. Customers have been applauding what's been going on. In fact, a local customer named Hoa was quoted as saying this: I think this initiative will help locals be more aware of protecting the environment, which is, of course,
But it looks so cool.
It looks absolutely fantastic.
Insta-ready, actually. It's like Insta-ready groceries. Yeah.
So now with Vietnam ranking number 4 in the world for the most amount of plastic waste dumped into the ocean, and report that they dispose about 2,500 tons of plastic waste per day. Efforts like this are of the utmost importance. And imagine if South African grocers adopted an idea like this. I mean, it would be world-changing, life-changing, wouldn't you say?
It's actually reaching critical mass now. Excuse the pun, but we're talking about the weights of, but it's choking the planet now. It's destroying the oceans, and you can just with a small little shift. Have you moved away from plastic? I no longer use plastic packets at
all. Yeah.
So you'll often see me if I forget my reusable bags. I force myself to then carry the stuff. So often you see
I'll be
me
honest,
carrying
I
my
suck
thing.
at that because I
can never remember to take my bag.
And I bought the reusable ones.
Yeah.
And then I walk to the store and I'm like,
where is that?
But then it's end of the month and then there's groceries. And then,
And it's also, I find it's quite awkward. I haven't come to terms with carrying a bag yet. So when you're walking to the shops and you've got your little bag.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly.
You have your bag there.
We're going to break that stigma, you and I together.
have to.
Come
Let's
on,
go shopping
dude.
this afternoon.
Come on, man.
I need
And cut the
some
loop
rusts.
as well. That did make me feel a little bit better if it wasn't tinged in a darker half there, but you can let us know. What stories are inspiring you this morning? Please help us feel a bit more positive. In fact, I'm going to do that for you right now. And we're going to delve into the absolute best of what humans can do. There is a push to build a society defined by freedom, fairness, and opportunity for young people especially. That certainly applies to South Africa, wherever they come from. It's a noble ideal, yes, but it is becoming a reality through outstanding human beings like Siviwe Dlukwana overcoming his own odds. He chose to use a terrible event that happened to his family and his family's life into an opportunity for others.
Our Mandela Monday hero today is Siviwe Dlukwana, who was born and raised in Crossroads. And unlike many of his peers, Siviwe was lucky enough to attend a secondary school for high-performing learners. And out of the 250 learners that he went to primary school with, he was one of only 2 who made it to university. And this is what motivated him to start Ikamva Labantwana Bethu organization, which aims to empower the next generation.
Hi. How's it going? Good, yourself? Good, very good to meet you. What a really nice spot you've got here. Thank you, thank you. It's absolutely beautiful and you do great work here. You aim to commit, believe, grow and inspire. What guided this mission here at ILB?
We commit, we teach children and youth here about taking an extra step in everything that you do. We nurture people to grow, to inspire and to believe.
Loss and tragedy, referring to your brother, also motivated you to start ILB.
I lost my brother in Crossroads in 2003 on 16th December, on the day of reconciliation, and he was stabbed to death in Crossroads. And as a way of healing myself and my family, we had to come up with a project like Ikamva to restore and to prevent youth from participating in gang-related activities and to give them an option by providing them with after-school programs and skills development.
Ikamva offers a safe space to do homework with tutors running programs over holidays, helping children to get placed in high schools and to access bursary funds.
You launched the Youth Cafe in collaboration with the Western Cape's Department for Social Development. What was the motivation behind this and how exactly do you plan to use this cafe to empower young people in the area?
We have a crisis when it comes to youth unemployment, and there's a huge education gap. Now, the reason to partner with the Department of Social Development was to close this gap and to bring the necessary skills that the youth need from this community and to bring more opportunities that would assist young people to access better employment opportunities and to further their education and training.
Through coming to this after-school program, it has helped me a lot because now my marks are more higher because when I came here, I came with 4s in my report, but now I go out with 7s, and I really thank the directors and all the tutors for that.
This program I enjoyed, my marks is good now and I have a good space to learn better and have new friends.
I enjoy to come in this program because they will make some exercise to our body so that we can be fresh and we improve our marks than before. When I was in grade 4, I get low marks in English and maths, so they assist me in those subjects.
Those who go through Ikamva and prosper return to support the children following in their footsteps.
You also train young university students to come on board as tutors. How exactly do you do this?
We assist university students to come here and offer support to township kids in maths, science, and English. They are true examples of young people who have journeyed from township into university. So having them around here motivates our students to also hope to get into university and to further their studies, to become just like our university students who are tutors here.
What have you enjoyed personally and taken out of the work that you do here at Ikamva?
It makes me feel very good to see people change, to see people transform, and seeing people becoming the best version of themselves. Beginning of this year, we've seen about 10 of our kids who were in the ILB class of 2012 get into university. And we've also assisted over 30 kids from Crossroads since 2012 until now to gain admission into higher performing high schools around Cape Town. And those schools are the Leap Science and Math School, Claremont High School, Crystal House, Cape Academy of Math Science and Technology, and the School of Hope. And in those schools, they are fully supported. They have very high chances of gaining admissions in university once they finish their matric.
Saviwa knows that crimes and lifestyles born of a lack of opportunity can be avoided, young and teenage lives can be transformed, and a nation built with better education.
That's the kind of stuff we need on a Monday morning, hey? Just giving you hope for a new day,
well done, brother.
a new dawn,
Well
and making you
done.
feel so good.
Just change one child's life and you're winning.
Come on,
Look at
Abantwana,
that. Look
be.
at that face.
Look
Don't you
at
miss her
this.
today?
She is having the
Aw.
time of her life, but of course today is our golden girl, Leanne Williams' birthday, and of course she will see all of these comments on social media, and you know what, we can't wait for her to get
She
back.
might even be streaming us right
We
now,
can
actually.
enjoy
Yeah.
some cake with her, but of course birthday wishes are welcome, and we're taking a look at all of the comments that's come through. Elaine says, happy birthday, beautiful Leanne, enjoy your special day to the fullest, you deserve it, so much love. Amanda says, oh, happy birthday Leanne, blessings upon you. Leneve says, happy birthday Leanne. Irene also, happy birthday Leanne. Carol says, happy birthday Leanne Williams, have a fab day. Of course, continue all those birthday blessings. You can head on over to the Expresso Facebook page and leave your comments.
It's a beautiful photo. She's
I know.
so photogenic.
She would appreciate this. This is your birthday song, it isn't very long. Hey! Enjoy it wherever you may be, Leanne. Yeah, can't wait to have you back with the fam. With
We
the
love you.
fam.
We
Yeah,
love you
listen,
so
we've
much.
been enjoying the music of Karen Koshia this morning. She's been amazing,
Class
right?
act.
Yeah, make sure
Wow.
to check her out on the 9th of June, City Hall. The show is called Divas and Maestros. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And just to close off this Monday morning, on a positive note, Graham, just for you, on a positive note, here she is one more time with a medley of songs that show that she will survive and we will all survive this ad break that we're about to take, and we'll be right back after this.
Will we though? Will I survive, Kat? I don't know, man.
Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Want you the boy who try to hurt me with goodbye? Think I can rumble? Did you think I'm later than die? No, I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I got all my life to live, I got all my love to give. I will survive. I will survive.
What's my space today?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Just a few more minutes left of your Monday morning right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show, hanging out with Karen Korkia and the team that will be surrounding her on the 9th of June at Divas and Maestros. It's going to be amazing. Just quickly tell us one more time what all this is in benefit of, because there is a bigger goal than just the show itself.
Yes, the Divas and Maestro is to create a platform for the unknown talent, the kids from the rural areas in the Overberg region and also in the Cape Flats and Cape region. So what we do is we put them on the stage and we showcase their talents. Myself is going to be on the lineup. I've got Madiga Anders, we've got Don Vino Prince, Camilo Lombard is also, Zal Dean. This is the kids from the Overberg and the Cape Flats who is performing with us now. 9 June at the City Hall. Tickets available at CompuTicket.
Absolutely, and right now you're about to give us a medley of songs that are about to just inject some feel good into our Monday morning. Take it away.
First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. I spent so many nights, kept thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong. See, I learned how to carry on. And so you're back from outer space. I just walk in to find you here. Sad look upon your face. Should have changed that stupid lock. Should have made you leave your keys. If I'd known for just 1 second, you'd been back to bother me. Go now, though. Walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Think I could rumble? Did you think I'd lay down and down? No, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I got all my life to live, I got all my love to give. I will survive, I will survive, I will survive, yeah. I never needed you to be strong. I never needed you pointing out my wrongs. I never needed pain. I never needed strain. Your love for me is strong enough. I should have known. I never needed you for judgment. I never needed you to question what I spend. I never asked for help. I take care of myself. I